comment section being upside down. Who even does that? Who
I
reads stuff upside down? I mean, I know I'm relatively close to upside down land, but doesn't mean I have to read stuff upside down.
You mean when because your chat was scrolling the wrong way around?
Downwards instead of
Yeah,
upwards, yeah.
I still don't understand why YouTube does that. It just randomly does it, and I genuinely don't know why. We're live by the way, but I genuinely don't know why because
Hamana
it's
Shaya,
not
Hamana Shaya Shaya.
Shia, yes, because it just randomly does it, and there's no rhyme or reason. But yeah, we are live now. Let me share the stream in the ECUM server because if I don't do it, nobody else will.
Correct, I will not do it.
No, I'm blaming Tin. Don't worry, I'm not blaming you.
What?
When
I mean, I
have
can
you
take
ever
it.
posted an ECUM video or stream in the public ECUM server, despite berating me every
several
time?
times.
Okay, prove it.
I have. I don't want to.
You know
Alright.
what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
We just ping me in the field. Oh, wait, never mind.
Hi, Stinkies. Hey, Zach. How you doing? You're gonna love this video we're gonna cover.
By love, we mean absolutely despise. You'll actually fall asleep several times and wake up in a burning, putrid sweat.
um, you've not watched that video, right? Because Jeb, I think, is the only one who did, and
Which one?
the CinemaSins Tasm Chew video.
If it's a recent one, then
It's a
no.
recent one,
If
yeah.
it's one that he released like years ago, then maybe, because I used to watch CinemaSins.
No, it's the new one. So what happened was he made, because it's like a 10-year anniversary of his TASM 1 and 2 videos, he made, he remade
Another
them.
one going up for like sins that he didn't.
Yeah, he
bring up
remade
other
them. It's
films.
called the 10th anniversary resyn for both films. We're gonna Jab only watched that TASM 2 one, and he didn't even finish it. It was just like, yeah, this is good enough for ECUM. I don't care to continue it. But if we have time, we can cover both of them today, so should be fun.
The old one and the new one for TASM 2? Or the TASM 1 and TASM 2
The TASM
anniversary?
1 and 2 anniversaries. I'm not watching his old videos. I don't want to watch even his new ones, but it'll be the same stupid shit, but with horrible mic quality, so.
This is that real, I really don't want to make this video, guys, energy. But I did it anyways.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sure I should
Zod
probably
would be here, but he's not. I can't. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. My bad, I assumed you guys were gonna roast this movie. No, I don't know why you'd assume that. We've made like 4 streams defending this film by this point. But anyway.
I mean, no, hold on. The title of the stream is Defending the Amazing Spider-Man 2 to cap off the year.
Yeah.
You thought we were going to roast the movie with a title like that.
Maybe it's sarcastic.
Maybe defend
It might
means
be.
shit on.
Oh, by the way, we have a like a special Christmas overlay that Neb made, and so yeah, appreciate it. I like it. So.
Oh yes, we do. It does look quite merry, quite Christmassy, quite.
You do, yeah. Christmas was what, 2 days ago, so Merry Crumbus. For you it was
3 days
3,
ago.
yeah, because you live in upside down.
I celebrated twice, so haha. I celebrated before anyone else on the planet, and then when everyone else on the planet celebrates it, I just like, you know what? I'll celebrate it again just because I'm that giving.
Just because I can. But yeah. So anyway, we're kind of just talking, just stall until Zod like shows any sign of life. But I guess in the meantime, Tin, what's your recommendation for the recommendation corner? We have the recommendation corner. You remember that, right, Shandy?
Well,
you should.
I do indeed remember the recommendation corner.
Yeah.
Well, what I've been watching for the past couple of weeks is Game of Thrones again, because my sister's boyfriend, she's come around and we're showing her the show, and we've got up to series 3 as of right now. So.
Oh, it means you only have one left to go.
Yeah, until the show finally ends, and it was always cancelled, and we never got a series 5 to 8.
It's quite odd that they made a prequel series like several years later, but I mean, I guess the interest was there.
Yeah, it was not. It was an odd one, but the first two series are pretty good. Like, I get to pick up on some details I missed this time round. I mean, the last time round, and I also get to show off that I know what my sister doesn't know, and say, "Oh, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. Oh no, he's not."
Wait, your sister hasn't seen the show, and you were like, you know what?
No,
I'm gonna spoil every death.
actually, no. We basically strew her along with other details. Like she predicted one half of something right for series 2, and we were like, "Yeah, we won't tell you. We won't tell you." But yeah,
So Game of
what was
Thrones, I guess, is your
yeah,
And you're
recommendation.
giving us mixed messages
yeah.
here.
It's the first 2 series. Yeah.
Is Madver Cook coming? No, he's probably not. I'm pretty sure he's out enjoying life like a real person,
Yeah, he
like a real
doesn't.
boy.
He's not really an enjoyer of Tazan Chu. Not that I've actually talked to him about it, but yeah,
I've spoken to him about it, and he was quite curious as to why I think it's better than the Raimi movies. And I was like, "Don't worry, I will tell you." And he's like, "I look forward to it, Shandadoodle."
Shad the Doodle. Good, yeah. No, he's yeah. I've talked to him this week. He's just working on the Flash video. Um, so yeah,
Oh, the flash
Working
video
hard
that we
and he's
need to
working
have, or else
long.
I shall explode.
yeah. Twitter people on Twitter are a bit
Oh yeah,
angsty for
to the
his
point where
video.
they've made their own
Twitter and
video.
YouTube.
Oh, did you see
His
that,
comment.
Shandy? That someone made their own video, their own like season 5. The Flash is insufferably inconsistent video. He sent that to us. I don't know if he sent it to you. It's really funny. Let me try to find it.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not.
It's
It's
a
not
pretty
nice.
cool.
Yeah. Here, someone had made the same video, as he does, because basically they were like too impatient. Let me show it here.
Well, I mean, not like Madvocate has a patent on the Flash's insufferably inconsistent. So you know what? They wanted to make their own video. Then good on them.
Hold on. Here we go. I just find it really funny. But yeah, obviously, if people want to make it, though, please make a better thumbnail next time. I mean, just that's all I'll say. Just work a bit harder on it.
Speaking of better, where is the watch together link? You
Hold on,
spoon.
we're still in the recommendation corner. Why? Don't get so.
Look, the
angsty.
less work I have to do at the start of the stream, the better, so I can go back to sucking ass at this game.
Look, I don't care.
And the
It-
reason I say sucking ass at this game is because I prefer to suck on Lebuba because that is better than ass, as Tin will tell you.
Let's not go there. It's Christmas.
Ah,
But anyway, Shandy, what have you been watching? What do you want to recommend the people in chat?
so I finished watching a Disney Plus show that released over the last few months. One of you guys can guess which one.
Andor?
Was it?
Yes, it was. It was Andor. It was a Star Wars story by the name of Andor. And surprise, surprise, it's not only an incredibly entertaining piece of media, but it's also like the only good piece of Star Wars media we've gotten in like decades. It is fucking phenomenal. I also watched the ECUM, I mean not ECUM, EFUP coverage of it two days ago, and they also thought it was really, really good. And they gave some insight into the show that I didn't really think of.
Mm.
And it really made me appreciate a lot of the finer details a lot more. And I'm very keen on giving it a rewatch to see some of the stuff that I missed.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if you guys are salivating at the idea of getting good Star Wars again, or if you just want to watch a really good sci-fi political thriller spy adventure TV show, please give Andor a watch. It is absolutely astoundingly good. It is really, really, really good.
Good to know. I've heard people really praising it, like Sheev, especially on Twitter, has been really, really talking about it. So I'm curious to watch it a little, but I don't really care about Star Wars at this point, so I don't know if I want to actually spend the time watching it.
I just want to address something too. Maximus 240, I don't know, on the outside Andor seems boring. Okay, so I've heard the sentiment a lot from people, especially people who are like fans of TV shows like Mandalorian or fans of the prequels, people who like the whole flashy shooting McBang style of some of Star Wars campier elements. This is not for you. If that's something that you enjoy and that's something you seek out of Star Wars, Andor is a very focused narrative on a handful of rebellion characters. This has nothing to do with the overall expanded Star Wars story that you're already familiar with. This has nothing to do with Jedi. It has nothing to do with the Force. It is solely focused on a handful of characters that are trying to take down the Empire in their own separate ways and how people live in a post-Empire world. It is very dark. The tone is very grim. The first 10 minutes set the tone for the rest of the season perfectly. So if you are invested, because that happened to me, I was invested in the story within the first 10 minutes, just because there was nothing like this that I had ever seen in Star Wars up until this point, since maybe Empire Strikes Back. That's how far back I have to go to find something even remotely close to what the show does. It is very unique, it is very special, and I desperately want the show to do significantly better. So if you guys think it looks boring on the outside, please give the first episode a try. I'm willing to bet that you'll get hooked on it. If not, then your tastes are bad, and I don't want you as a friend, anyways.
I'm very happy with how aggressive that ending was. Um. Anyway, hey, Zod.
Oh,
Hey,
hi.
hey, you're late, but hi.
I am, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's my turn. Right. Recommendation corner. So, oh yeah, my recommendation is Feel Good, the Netflix show made by comedian Mae Martin, who's non-binary, though in the show they play themselves and go by female pronouns because it's about like the story of their life, and figuring out a lot of their past and dealing with trauma and everything. It's really, really good. Might be like one of the best pieces of media I've seen, like comedy wise. It is genuinely fantastic. I really love it. And yeah, as I said, mission it deals with like trauma and just like having like a toxic relationship and whether or not you can like turn that into a healthy relationship. And obviously also talks about like drug addiction that May suffered from at a certain point in their life. Like there's a lot of really interesting topics that it covers while still being like a comedy, and it's a really interesting balance that is done really well. And it's just a very relatable story if you have like just anxieties, especially social anxieties and everything like that are very well portrayed in the show. So yeah, I recommend Feel Good. It's on Netflix. It's only 2 seasons long. It's 12 episodes in total, and yeah, that's what I recommend. Zod, what do you have to recommend?
Um, but this time I've got a couple of options, so because for once I haven't actually just watched a single thing ever. So yeah,
To be fair, it's been a while since the last ECUM. Probably had time to watch at least a film and a half.
that's very true. Um, I'll go with something fairly recent since it's yeah, makes sense. The new Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro's, which was on was
Guillermo
only,
del Toro.
which is added on Netflix, I think, fairly recently, like been last week or so. I saw that because I thought, yeah, why not? It'd be worth doing, and I'm I'm quite a big fan of it. But I think it goes without saying, but the animation is just it's consistently spectacular all the way through. It's done with stop motion, and just I think that benefits it quite a lot. Is you can just see the level of craft and passion that went into every single like scene and every frame. It all looks gorgeous, and That's I think that's like it's probably my favorite thing about it, even though there's a lot of good in terms of writing as well, because it takes a more of a darker sort of tone, or well, just sort of the approach
Isn't
is
it based on like the more classic depiction of Pinocchio rather than the Disney version?
Yeah.
uh yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Uh
So it's not really a new story, but just a more accurate depiction of the classic one.
yeah, like just from the very first scene, you get a very strong sense of sort of what sort of tone we're going for here, what sort of world this is set in, and it's, it it does deal with like some quite heavy stuff, but like it it does it all really well, and in the end, it it tells sort of more of a it does how do I put it? It all comes together to tell a more sort of optimistic sort of give a more sort of hopeful sort of outlook. Like more sort of positive sort of themes in terms of like how you approach life in general and that sort of stuff. It really is. It's quite wonderful. It's like in terms of characterization as well. The voice actors always they're just doing excellent work all the way through. And yeah, I find it difficult to recommend it any higher. It's top notch basically.
Ooh. All right. So next order of business, I watched Avatar 2. I think it's important to mention it because it is very topical and people would ask. I don't think anyone else in this call has. Shandy would have, but he's cringe.
I hurt my foot.
No, you. That was you just not willing to walk to the movie theater with a
Listen to
hurt
your chat.
foot.
Listen to your chat. I was going to go and watch it last week Friday, okay? But in the last half an hour at working at my job, I accidentally stepped on a loose piece of log and twisted my foot so fucking badly I couldn't walk for like the next 3 fucking hours. So I said to Sky, okay, listen, I've been planning this watch the whole entire week. I was even going to do coverage of it on my own podcast this weekend. But after that, I was like, you know what? I don't feel like going nowhere. I'm staying home and I'm resting and recuperating. So instead, I watched Andor, and yeah, I don't regret my decision. That show slaps.
That's fair, but anyway, point being, Avatar 2 is really good. It thankfully focuses way more on character than the first film. Like the focus of the film is character, which is the one thing that was really lacking from the first one, which is a very competent film, but is not a very interesting one. The second one I actually could see myself rewatching. I've actually been in the mood to like go to theaters and rewatch it recently, just because I'm like, man, that I like the story. So yeah, I really like it. It's a very simple film. It's like a very classic James Cameron sequel doing like a revenge story. Though this time the revenge story isn't on Jake Sully's side, it's on the villain's side. I forget his name, Quaritch. But yeah, it's really cool. The CGI is the best I've ever seen in anything, and it looks beautiful, and it is just a very well made film. So yeah, I saw
Funny you
that.
said that because I rewatched Avatar 1 last week, and I remember when that movie came out, the CGI was like incredibly
Yeah, I
impressive.
don't
But
think it
watching
holds
it
up that
again,
well anymore. Yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't. There
I
are some parts of
rewatched
that
it.
movie that look
Yeah,
so
I
fucking
rewatched
bad.
it just before I watched Avatar 2, and I was like, that's not great. I think it's the kind of thing where, like, for the time, it was really impressive because if you like compare it to, it is a 2009 film, right? And most MCU films have
Yeah.
CGI that looks like that now.
Well,
But the funny thing is that
well,
the MCU
you
doesn't
look at
care about looking good with the CGI, right?
you look at other movies that came out around the same time, namely something like Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and The World's End. The CGI in those films is like
Mm.
immaculate, and it still holds up really, really well today.
Oh
Just
yeah,
look at the CGI
I
in Davy
think the
Jones.
thing is like I think for the time and it being so much CGI, right? Because I very much doubt the Pirates of the Caribbean had as much CGI as Avatar did, because it's like Pandora
Well,
is entirely CGI. These characters are like mostly CGI because they're uh the blue people, the Navi, they're not like
They're very
the
tall.
actors. Yeah, so they need to make the different models, and they obviously don't have like the same body proportions as normal humans, because they have really
They're
weird body
quite
proportions and
slender.
they're very slender. It's so I think like for the amount of time that that would have taken for the CGI of that film, I think it looks good for the time. But yeah, I think a lot of it doesn't like hold up anymore if you compare it to something like, I don't know, Eternals, I guess, which came out recently, which has like very good CGI. Just the first
Or
example I
maybe
could
the
think of.
movie that we're going to be covering today, which actually
Or
still has
TASM 2, yeah,
excellent
that was
CGI.
another thing I was gonna mention. TASM 1 and 2 have some of the best CGI still that I've ever seen. Like, if it weren't for Avatar 2, I would still say that TASM 2 has the best CGI I think I've seen in, like, anything. It is very, very insanely good. Like, Electro in that film looks so beautiful.
Yeah, and like there's like a shot like at the end where like he's holding on to the power cables, and like everyone thought that was like an actual practical shot, and it turns out it's completely CGI.
Yeah, in the
Like
commentary they
it
say
looks
that
so
like
convincing.
basically every shot of Spider-Man in the suit in the film is CGI, and you genuinely can't tell. And when they said like, "Oh, this close-up of when Peter yells, 'Now Gwen, now do it now,' when he's holding the webs and Electro's firing the electricity at him, that was like purely CGI." And I'm like, how the fuck? How does it look this good? It's so detailed.
Funny because you see the exact same shots in something like No Way Home, and then you immediately, oh, that is actually like really CGI. That
Yeah.
actually looks really fake.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because the MCU, I don't know if you saw that, Chandy, but I don't know if it was John Watts or just someone involved with No Way Home, but said like in the MCU that they clean up the Spider-Man suit, even if
Yeah,
it's done
they
practically, so that it doesn't have wrinkles or anything. For
Yeah,
some
I
reason,
saw
yeah,
that.
yeah, they
make
said
it
like people don't
cleaner
want
or look
wrinkles.
smooth.
Yeah, which is stupid because the thing that I like the most about the Tasm Chew suit is how like it wrinkles, and when he's like swinging through the air, you can see flapping. It's so like it makes it feel so much more real. I love that. But I don't know. The MCU people have some
I
issues.
don't know. I think it makes him look fat.
The itsy bitsy spider part is hilarious. Yeah, I mean it's done really well. Like Electro, extremely in character for Electro. A really good way for him to undermine Peter's confidence and power. As well as just being funny because he's playing itsy bitsy spider. I think it's just like miles better than the moment in Spider-Man 1 where Goblin is singing it. Um, but yeah.
I won't comment. I think they're both good for their own reasons. I mean, Goblin is singing it to himself because he's fucking insane, and Electro's singing it
Yeah, but
to
I
everyone.
think it's just kind of feels like in Spider-Man 1 they're just doing it because like, ha, funny. It's, we're a campy film, we're doing something
Well, yeah,
campy.
because
Whereas in Tazm
Goblin's
2 it
cartoon
actually
in that movie.
yeah, I just think Tazm 2 has more of a like narrative reason because it makes sense for Electro to do something like that to undermine Peter.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I wouldn't say one's better than the other because they're done for different reasons.
Yeah, but I'm seeing the reason that it's done for in Tazm 2 is more tied to the narrative rather than just to be a funny. It's more substantive,
Yeah,
I
I know,
guess.
but you also just said that you find it better, which is fine, I guess. But I wouldn't say either's better because they're done for different reasons.
Sure. But
Yeah.
I got distracted reading chat. I completely forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, CinemaSins. I mentioned this. Oh yeah, sorry. That's what I was gonna say. Jeb. He couldn't be here. We scheduled today around his time, but he can't be here today because he decided to destroy his throat today. Yeah, he decided that was definitely a choice he made, and so he couldn't be here. But he's with us in spirit, and he told me to recommend She-Hulk in his spirit, so that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, now that we have that out of the way, we can get started with CinemaSins. Is everything wrong with the Amazing Spider-Man 2 10th anniversary recent? I'm so fucking
Is this
excited.
just new? Is this just new Shandy law? Do I just slip on banana peels now, Neb? Is that
Yes,
what I do?
Yeah.
like the cartoon character you are, like Neb said.
Hey,
But alright.
sure.
No, I don't think we've ever covered CinemaSins before. We covered Cinema Wins, his video on Shang-Chi with Madvocate, a couple weekends ago. But CinemaSins is a channel that we hate. I genuinely really, really don't like them. But yeah, this video came out, Jab watched it, and it was like, hey, this is garbage. How about we do an ECUM on it? I was like, sure. So,
No,
yeah.
but you don't understand. They're being purposely shit because they're trying to be
Because
funny.
it's satire, of course.
It's satirical. It's supposed to be unfunny and bad because it's unfunny and bad.
Like most Rick and Morty.
You're wrong, but yeah.
It's just like me.
I wonder when
I'm such-
Sky's
I'm
going
such-
to realize what is actually bait coming from me and what isn't. Maybe she will one day.
No, I know you were just saying that for me to get a reaction out of me because I like Rick and Morty. But anyway, everything wrong with the Amazing Spider-Man 2 10th anniversary recent. Were you gonna say something, Ted, or did I?
I was just saying like it's just like me. I'm purposely unfunny and bad.
Yes, let's say it's purposeful.
Ha ha ha!
All right.
That's the trick.
No, I'm fucking deaf.
This.
48
Why?
different logos, including Sony filleting themselves twice.
Okay. Yes, there are a few
He
logos
does
in this
this-
film.
Yeah.
He does this with every film, and it's always
Yeah,
the
it's-
stupidest thing.
It's a really superfluous thing because, like, at this point, the people who made the film have got to say they made it. Like,
I don't
like
even see
shouting
why
at the
this
sky for having
warrants
clouds in it.
commentary.
It's
This
like-
is
it's
the
like-
dumbest fucking thing.
It is the dumbest thing. I don't understand. Also, saying Sony filleting themselves. No, there's the Columbia production company, which is Sony's, and there's Sony because of equipment, and then being like the parent company, you gotta show both of them. It's like that's why you show Marvel Studios and then Columbia when it's like a MCU Spider-Man film, whatever.
The opening shot of this movie is on a watch, and it's Swiss-made, so you know it's good. The time is 6:43 p.m., but then the security camera here says it's 21:05, which,
What? Okay,
according to my math, means it's 9:05
9:05.
p.m. That's a full 2 hours and 22 minutes off.
Okay, good for
That,
you.
to be fair, that's something I would point out.
Yeah, I mean it's just a very, very tiny thing. I really don't care.
It's just an inconsistency. It's minor, but I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't really do anything. But
Be good. Superheroes' parents leave somewhere and die in a Marvel movie cliche. These two are
yep, that happens.
The
You're
parents
not
do
gonna pause
that.
after everyone, are you?
I'm just I want to pause because I want to comment. I'm like, this is so dumb. Why is he pointing it out? It's like a knee-jerk
You're
reaction.
watching
I
a
just click
CinemaSins
pause.
Video. What did you
And-
expect? This is what they do.
I just kind of wonder, does that actually happen that often? Because like you read one like, oh, it's this is cliche, this is cliche.
Well,
but,
it's
like, how often
Iron
does
Man's
that happen?
parents.
Tin,
Like,
I'm gonna play a game with you, Tin. Name me one time this doesn't happen. Haha.
Guardians.
Nope.
Peter's
This one
parent.
dies.
No, but the point, the cliche is the parents leaving and then they die. The only time that happens is
Oh.
Tony Stark's parent.
like
I don't really think any other
like,
character
it's-
is like
it's
that.
Like parents die in a superhero origin story. That's basic. That's the bread and butter of a superhero.
It's like superheroes' parents leave somewhere and die in a Marvel movie cliche. That's genuinely just Tony Stark. Because like Black Panther isn't that. So that's already one. Captain Marvel
I
doesn't
genuinely
really.
thought that this sin was
Uh,
just parents die in a Marvel
I
movie.
guess Captain
No.
America's parents died in the war.
I think No, that does that count? We don't see that. Like they're not really a focus, so I don't know if it would count as part of the cliche. But I think he just made it much more specific, as if he said parents die in a Marvel movie, that would be so like broad that he couldn't count it as a cliche. Because it's like, yeah, that happens in like 90%
I think
of
you guys are
cinema.
asking the wrong question. The right question here would be, why is this a sin?
Because it's satirical. Don't worry about it.
He sins cliches, even though the cliche being there is not inherently bad.
Yeah,
I guess we
it's-
could point out that for the fact that he went ahead and redid a video he made 10 years ago, just to crap on a movie that is universally considered bad, for, I don't know, what would
Reasons.
be the equivalent of like pity points here? Is he just doing it for like
I think it just.
easy?
Yeah, I think it-
sentiment. Cause
I think it is just
it's like,
genuinely like he wants views, like easy views, like a film everyone hates. So let's do that.
Plus, like, I don't know how you can say this for 10th anniversary of TASM 2 because
No, it's the 10-year anniversary of his video, not the TASM. Wait, no, that doesn't make
It's like-
sense because the TASM
because-
2 video was in. It couldn't
Yeah,
have
that
been
was 2
into
years
2012 because the film came out in 2014.
It's
What?
the 10th anniversary of Amazing Spider-Man 1, not the second one. So
Oh, it's the 10-year anniversary of his channel. He joined on December 11th, 2012. So it isn't 10 years since he made the video, it's 10 years since he created the channel itself. Which is
So why did he
stupid.
pick this?
Exactly.
Why didn't he just
So
no? Why didn't he just
Oh,
do a video on the Avengers? Because that was like one of his first
no,
videos.
he
I think
did.
that's his
He
first
did.
one.
He picked like a few. So he did like a Frozen one, Batman Begins, The Avengers, Hunger Games, Dark Knight, Prometheus, TASM 1, TASM 2, Avatar, Dark Knight Rises. Those were the ones he made for the 10-year anniversary recent. So he
I guess
picked
he
a
just
few.
picked a few that he thought would be popular. So yeah, no, fair
Yeah, I
enough.
mean, it makes sense to do Avatar just before
It
Avatar
makes
2
sense to
comes
do
out.
all of them. Hunger Games is a bit questionable.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
don't
say
know if there's
Hunger
any like
Games is
stern Hunger
weird.
Games fans,
I think
but
it's because these
the
are all
rest of
like
them
early
seem
ones
fun.
that they did. Like these are the ones that like
Yeah.
kickstarted the channel for them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I imagine
probably.
it's that. All right, sure. I mean, at least we figured it out. It's not 10 years since the TASM 2 one. Never actually thought before that they always do this, and yet also do a superfluous intro sequence at the beginning of all their videos. That's actually true. What's the point of doing the retarded like logos at the beginning of his
Do you want to
videos?
know who pointed this out? Birdman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
I think it was
Nav.
in
The
his.
irony.
I think
The
that was in his
irony.
Far From Home video. He points it out like immediately. It's like, I always find it funny that you complain about Marvel doing this or movie studios doing this, yet you do this all the time. And I
Uh-huh.
think it was after CinemaSins like had an ad break or something.
Right. Oh, that's hilarious
Yeah.
then. Neb
Yeah.
having the Birdman take. I'm sorry, Neb, but you're not allowed to have opinions anymore.
Well, I mean, he's allowed to have good opinions from time to time.
Wrong. Tell me one good opinion he said. You can't exactly. Specificity makes things funnier, so in trying to make it more funny, he made it inaccurate. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying in terms of the saying this is a cliche. Hey, Madvika, gotta go catch this episode of the Nut House featuring the ECUM crew. Yes, welcome to the Nut House podcast. Shanley is our host, and we're just along for the ride.
Well, when you think about it, nut is another word for cum, so technically it's e-nut.
E-nut. Yes. Sure.
Earth
hate
parents
all
leave
of you.
somewhere
Yeah.
and die in a Marvel movie cliche. These two are supposedly escaping into the night with secrets so damning they had to literally abandon their son. They still took a private jet?
Yeah. So this is the point I remember EFAP made as well. I want to think about this for a sec. Do you think Richard Parker would take a public plane and put a lot of like people in danger by being in the same plane as them if Oscorp tried to take them down? Secondly, a private plane means he has more control, can leave sooner, which is the point. They're running away like on the fly. It wasn't planned. That's got to be a company jet. No, he has money. What are you talking about, Jeremy?
Like he works at Oscorp and he's like
Very rich.
Norman Osborn's right hand man.
Yeah.
He's like in the top.
I
at
just wanna-
Oscorp.
Him and
Oscorp
Connors
is
are the
like-
leading scientists of Oscorp, which is like the biggest conglomerate in the world.
Richard Parker is rich enough to own a secret underground subway tunnel, yet people are surprised that he has a private plane.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Like he has to have a lot of money working for Oscorp
There
as
were
like the leading
several-
scientist that long.
There were several lines of dialogues in both TASM 1 and TASM 2. The one that sticks to me is in TASM 2, where someone was referring to Norman Osborn as like the pioneer in modernizing medicine for the human race, and Richard Parker is regularly referred to as a big reason for why that ended up happening with his work on cross-species genetics. So, I mean, they're working for like one of the most financially stable companies on the planet. They both make bank. I don't know. It seems like a really silly thing to complain about. But a funny point of comparison to make here is anytime I hear this comparison or this point being brought up, I just think back to Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark. The start of the movie where Indy's running away from the native Peru guys or something, and then he gets inside his escape plane, and My first thought is, wow, imagine if he just ran all the way to the airport and took a public plane instead of just the secret escape plane that's just sitting there waiting for him. Imagine the Native Americans could end up tracking him and finding out where he lives. Bad plot, bad movie. Moving on.
All right.
Gotta be a company jet, no? Is it
No.
possible that by chartering this jet you doomed yourselves through sheer paperwork obviousness? Or did Colonel Jessup doctor these flight logs as well? How exactly did this assassin kill the pilot in a way that would have also put blood directly on his hands?
He beat him
A knife.
up.
Yeah, stab. Stab, stab.
Yeah, knife could also work. I don't. Yeah, he could have done a few
He
things.
could have grabbed a zip tie and tied it really tightly around his neck, and then blood could have been pouring out of his neck while he's holding the zip tie.
Yeah.
Later we see that he positioned the pilot so as to keep the plane steady. And
Yeah.
maybe doing that put blood on his hand.
Yeah.
He just put that on autopilot.
What? Because he wants the plane to crash. Did you miss the point? He wants the plane to crash.
He puts on the parachute because he knows he wants to.
Yeah, he put him upright so that he had time to talk to Richard, and send Norman's message to him before he killed him. And then after that, he puts on the parachute and just like, okay, I'm a bounce now. And that's when the pilot, there's turbulence and the pilot falls on the steering wheel, which is the point. It would just give the co-pilot more time, the assassin more time. Norman's net worth is estimated 5 billion. Even if Richard have half that, a private jet is pocket change. I mean, I doubt he has half that. I think it's way less, but I agree with the point.
And if you're telling me that he didn't know how to put the plane on autopilot, why not? That
He's an assassin. I don't think he's an actual, like, co-pilot. But even if he is, that doesn't change. It doesn't matter.
would be so much simpler than positioning a dead dude's arms to steady a plane. Man, this assassin guy sure waited a long time to kill the Perkers. If he was sent here for this very reason, to stop them from talking, he nearly done f***ed up, man.
Yeah, he was sent here to send a message to Richard before he kills
Not
Richard.
just that, he was also yet to extract whatever information they had access to, and he couldn't really do that until they got down on the plane.
Mm.
And if the company is one
And then
step
once they were
ahead-
on the plane, he waited for them to take off, make the plane crash look like an accident, steal whatever information they had onto them, and then leave without a trace. That's the plan.
Yeah, he tried to get the computer as well.
And it nearly would have worked had the lock on the door to
The bathroom.
Richard's Mary, is that her name? Mary?
Mary, yeah.
Yeah, if the bathroom Mary was trapped in actually stayed locked,
Mhm.
he would probably have gotten away with it.
and
Because there wasn't
has an
anything Richard could do.
assassin pilot on board, why even let this plane get off the ground at all?
What?
Make
Are
it
you
look like an
stu-
accident.
Yeah, it's like the entire point is Oscorp covering up their fuck ups. Like it's the entire thing of these two films. Like that's like when Harry talks to like the lawyers. They're like, oh, we stopped working on cross species genetics because we wanna, keep investor confidence. And then they use Harry as a fall guy later in the film, which is the entire point, to make the company look good and only have like a few bad apples that they get rid of,
It's cinematic, I suppose, but it makes zero sense.
They say you're a genius.
Why hasn't he killed the Perkers yet? Why does this guy, who is an assassin, have to monologue?
Because fucking Norman probably told him to. He's telling him things that Norman would want Richard to know before he dies. Like,
It's funny that Tin
I
is
don't know.
currently watching Game of Thrones because there's a character in that show that monologues to someone just before they stab him in the heart. Bruce Bolton, I think is in season
Oh,
3
yeah.
of Game of Thrones during the Red Wedding. His final words to Robb Stark before he literally stabs him in the heart are, "Does Lannister send their regards?"
mm.
People
Yeah,
like shit talk you before you die. I do it in Call of Duty all the time. It happens.
It's like having the last laugh, or like having like one final message to like, pour salt in the wound. Like,
Yeah.
it's that sort of thing. Like he's even insulting them, saying, "Oh, they say you're a genius," implying they think he's an idiot.
Shed, did you remember in season 6 in the paintball episode of Community, and Starburns gets the upper hand on Todd, and he's like, "Do you know why I beat you, Todd?" Like even he monologued. But he's like, "You don't? I don't know either. Like I'm 48 years old. I don't know how I'll get here." But yeah, he takes his time to kill him because he wants to be like, "Holy shit, I got the upper hand. I won." I think it's just a normal human thing to do. to like
The funny thing
the
about
final
this
moment you do
scene
something
is
like
that
that.
it's not even a stop to talk moment either. The dude's already won. The plane is going to crash. The Parkers end up dying anyways.
Yeah, and
The
he's getting
only
the
issue he
laptop
had
while he's
was
doing
that
this. He's
yeah.
closing the laptop and grabbing it as he has the gun pointed at Richard. Like at this
Also,
point, even if he doesn't shoot Richard, he's gonna die. The plane's gonna crash.
not just that, but he's talking to him to lower down his guard while he gets ready to jump out of the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's talking, he just carries on talking because he's having a conversation with him anyways.
Yeah.
And then he slowly walks up to him and he's gonna grab the laptop and then jump out of the plane. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't talk to him, besides like efficiency.
Yeah, characters aren't always the most efficient, especially when they think they have the upper hand, which he thought he did, but Mary broke out of the bathroom. Which Zach pointed it out to me last night, but it's kind of weird that the bathroom has a lock on the outside. I don't know if like planes have that, but I thought it was funny.
It's funny enough because I was watching a movie last night called In Bruges. I don't know if anyone of you has seen it, but there's a mild spoiler.
I think
So,
Sod has.
I have
well,
not.
not a mild spoiler, it's actually a pretty big spoiler. So the end of the movie has the antagonist fighting the protagonist, and the antagonist accidentally shoots someone.
Mm.
I won't say who. And in a moment of guilt, they, because they have a philosophy that if they shoot people of this specific nature, then they will shoot themselves in the mouth there on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And what they don't realize is that the person that they shot that they thought was this kind of person wasn't actually that, but it was someone else dressed up like that kind of person.
Mhm.
So he was making a mistake. And the protagonist was trying to warn him, but he's kind of like gasping for air because he's been shot himself, so he can't really speak normally.
Mm.
And the antagonist doesn't stop to talk and points the gun in his mouth and pulls the trigger. So now, the funny thing is, if he did monologue and if he did have time to talk, he would probably have realized that who he shot wasn't the person that he thought it was, and he would probably have spared himself. But because he was so efficient at what he was doing, he ended up killing himself in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that funny, just
Yeah.
as a point of comparison. That efficiency is the reason he died.
This fight scene shot and edited by Turbulence itself, with the spider
It's a sin that the scene is shot and edited in a way that makes the scene more immersive. It's bad that the film is good. Well done, Jeremy.
It's also the only scene in the movie to have shaky cam.
Yeah, but it makes perfect sense. Like he said, it's turbulence and they're fighting. What this? If you're gonna have a shaky cam moment in a film, this is the one, right? It's like quote close quarters in while turbulence fight, close quarters fight in a plane with turbulence. It's like, yeah, what's the problem? Like Ralph, the movie maker, also fucking commented on this shaky cam. He was like, "Oh, I hate shaky cam. You can't see anything that's going on," which is false. But he says, "Yo, it's so bad. I hate shaky cam," as if it's like inherently bad to have shaky cam. But it's like it's dependent on context, and the context here like calls for it, and it works. I don't know, man. People were cringe with this
There was
film.
one thing I noticed about this movie is that it's probably one of the most well choreographed and well shot fights I've seen in any superhero movie. Like the final fight with Electro and even with the Goblin
Mm.
is great to look at. Like you can easily follow the action every time it happens,
Yeah.
and it is very encapsulating.
Well, in
I'd actually argue
the
that they're better than most of the fights in the Raimi trilogy.
one thing I love, which is something that Eternals did a bit as well, is having like wide shots, right? That actually like you can follow the fight. You're not like following the punches or anything like that. That is like close quarters, you know, that you'd have on a more like I guess like a Civil War type film or Winter Soldier. That's more like melee fights, right?
They did
That's
the
just-
same thing in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you can actually see the fight on like a wide shot on a wide lens, you can actually follow it way better. It's way more interesting to look at because you can actually know what's going on. And Tasm Chu does it not only that you can follow it perfectly, but it looks beautiful, especially the Electro fight because of the way Electro, you know, lights up the scenery and following Peter and the coloring is just brilliant. I watched the film with HDR and it looks so good to look at, man.
Spider-Man movies have
Movie's
always
quite
been
nice.
missing, honestly, is more Air Force One. When people ask
Air Force One shit. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna skip that one. It's just stupid.
Ask me where the Amazing Spider-Man 2 went wrong. I always blurt out the very first scene before they've even finished asking the question. This
It's a sin. Okay. Sure. I don't know.
fucking plane that is fucking dive bomb crashing and decompressed with multiple fucking holes in it does not still have a solid fucking Wi-Fi signal.
Why?
Why not?
That's like it. I imagine it's from like a satellite, right? Or it's something of that sort, like something that connects to a satellite,
It's
like an
also
antenna or something.
technology in a universe where fucking talking 8-foot lizards and spider people exist. They have
Mhm.
technology that advances people to a degree significantly higher than anything we have possible. They have spider webs that have the tensile strength of bridge fucking wires, you know,
Mm.
that high tensity fucking steel shit. I work with steel on a basic day-to-day basis. I know how strong that shit can be. If a tiny piece of spidey wire can do that, it's absolutely insane.
I
When you have
just,
problems with a laptop holding a Wi-Fi signal
well, it's just so
from
weird to me
like
because
the
like if the
second
plane
richest
is the
person on
plane,
Earth.
the plane falling doesn't like impede it having a Wi-Fi signal, right? Because like whatever it is connecting to get the Wi-Fi signal, it still like exists. Like the Wi-Fi fucking towers, they're still gonna be like, you know, the internet towers are still gonna be around like wherever they get the signal from, and all they need is like some kind of antenna on the plane to connect to it. Unless that was destroyed, but that would probably be like on the outside of the plane. Like I don't understand. I don't know.
Now, the bit that gets me is that he points out that the windows are shattered. Like, does he think the Wi-Fi is gonna spill out the windows?
The signal
is it
isn't
like a
strong
bu-
enough
is it-
if the windows are
Is
opened.
it like a water bottle where like you puncture holes in it? Does he think it's just
Yeah,
gonna
the
spill out?
vacuum, you know, the vacuum from the air compression outside causes causes the Wi-Fi to spill out because Wi-Fi, as
What
we
the
all know,
fuck
is
does this
air.
mean?
What'd you say, Shandy?
What the fuck does this mean? The movie exists because the other one exists. The
It,
fuck does that mean?
it's a sequel. I don't know, man.
This movie exists because the other one exists.
Oh,
Also,
that's the whole sin.
Uh,
Oh,
okay.
he said the thing. He said the
He said
thing.
He
Woo!
said the thing. That's a throwback.
I always
Antenna
find this
fitted
funny,
in the.
especially when I watch.
Sorry,
Especially,
go on.
I said I always find this sin funny from anyone who says it, especially after playing the Spider-Man PS4 game
Uh-huh.
with the enhanced swinging mod from the Raimi games, where he just launches himself into the
Yeah,
stratosphere every
it's
time
just
he swings off a building.
it's just momentum. You build momentum and then you jump up. Like we've seen him do this not only in this film but in the first one. It's just such a silly argument. Like this is genuinely like looking for things to hate about this film. But Zach said in chat, antenna fitted beneath the airplanes receive signals from these towers and send them to an onboard server. The plane having gunshots in the fuselage wouldn't affect the Wi-Fi. So yeah, thanks for fact checking. Wait, I thought you guys were being ironic when you said you liked Tazum Chew. Oh, sorry, Sheev, we weren't. I don't know why you thought we were, but no, we love this film.
I ironically, unironically, subjectively, unobjectively think this film is better than anything I've seen in the last 73 years of my existence.
73 years. That's it's a long time, Shandy. We thought Jeb was our only old man.
did he jump out of a plane? This guy
Oh
is
no, I'm
super
still quite
high above
young.
the ground in
Squirrels
free
live
fall,
for a long
above
time.
super high
Ah,
buildings.
okay.
I hate everything about the CGI in this shot. You're right.
Why?
The best CGI in any Spider-Man film. How is
I
this
hate absolutely
rubber? I
everything
don't understand. This is the
I
least
just
rubbery
genuinely think a
Spider-Man.
lot of people don't realize what you look like when you're high above the sky, really high in the sky, and you're like moving really fast. I mean, this guy doesn't look like the kind of person who watches skydiving videos or knows what people look like when they come into contact with a lot of really fast-moving air pressure. You know, like those people who like put vacuum cleaners in their face and then it like just makes their mouth go.
Yeah.
Or people who like go inside wind turbines and just their skin kind of goes flappy.
Mm.
I mean, you look really, really rubbery when you come into contact with high pressurized areas like this, and the suit looks great.
I mean,
He spent
it's
a lot of
it's
time
flapping
working on
around
this.
with the air hitting him. His movement, like it's a bit loose. It's like spandex, right? It's like I don't know.
Imagine him
looks
watching the diving sequence in Top Gun Maverick and seeing everyone's faces kind of like going rubberized and be like, oh damn, they neoed
this CGI.
Top Gun Maverick.
So stupid.
Rubber Neo'd Spider-Man. The director and the prop master had a massive disagreement over the definition of enough rolled-up blueprints.
I'm not gonna lie, I
Okay.
actually hate that myself. I fucking despise it.
You despise what?
The fact that he has so many blueprints. I hate it. It annoyed the shit out of me when I saw that.
Why?
I don't like it. Because it's very, very goofy, especially with this thing going on. And I mean, like, that's a taste thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like it.
That's fair.
It's very goofy.
Fair enough.
I hate when the famously agile and flexible character is agile and flexible. I know, right?
He tries to out Blues Brothers, the Blues Brothers.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm running a bit late. I got stuck in some traffic.
Bad pun aside, not even 5 minutes ago, you were swinging around New York City, literally asking for some crime to stop. So you were late because you were late.
No, he was listening to the police radio. He was trying to find the thing. Right? Oh no, he says like, what do you got for me today, New York, or something. But okay, so you say he's an asshole because he was looking for something to help the city with? How is that being an asshole? He thought he had time. And then once he realized it was like a bigger thing to deal with Rhino, that it would take longer, he was like, oh shit, I'm gonna probably be late.
I think we're avoiding the more basic one. He's lying.
Yeah, that is also the point. He's trying to cover up that he's actually fighting crime with Gwen. To Gwen.
Spider-Man probably knew he was going to be late anyways, and he was just doing a quick patrol before he actually had to go and graduate.
Yeah.
And he just so happened to find one where people were stealing plutonium.
And an asshole. Not because of this current incident or predicament. Of all the things this movie didn't really have time for, the visions of the dead dad of your girlfriend is the most frustrating.
What? It's like a huge part of his main arc in this film. What? He shows up on screen for like 5 seconds in that scene. When he's talking to Gwen, do you not realize the point of what the scene is doing with Peter as a character?
Actor goes through a traumatic event, has PTSD from said traumatic event. Never happened.
Yeah, he's he's talking to Gwen while he's fighting crime, and he remembers the dad, Gwen's dad, who he promised to not get Gwen involved because he didn't want Gwen to be in danger. It's like, oh.
He's also currently strapped to the top of a police vehicle, and he sees a person in a police uniform driving next to him.
Yeah.
What was Gwen's dad?
Yeah,
Gwen's dad was the police captain.
exactly, and
These
so
people in uniform might remind him of something. It's
yeah,
a
while
trigger.
he's talking to Gwen, it's like, I don't know, man. It's so it makes sense. It follows with Peter's arc in this film and Gwen's especially, so really well. I don't understand, and it's not like they spend time on like the visions of Captain Stacy, right? He shows up 3 times, and it's like never longer than like I guess 8 seconds or something. I don't know, man. It's such a silly criticism.
Holy this movie is asking us to believe Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield's characters are only just now graduating high school?
To remind
Yeah.
us that time is luck.
You just told us time is valuable and precious.
What does
because
that
it
even
ends.
mean? Wait,
Time
no.
is all-
What does that even mean? They expect us to believe they only just now graduated. What does that even mean?
The actors look old. I think that's the
They
point.
look old.
Which I don't
like,
I
yeah,
disagree. I think they can pass for early 20s.
It's like
Late
yes, they were
teens.
older. Like Andrew was in his 30s when he made this one, but like it really doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter at that point.
I mean, I've seen teenagers. I've seen 16-year-old guys who gym a lot and who take a lot of PEDs to
Uh-huh.
help with performance, who look like 30-year-old men.
Dude,
And I've seen
Zach himself. I always thought he was like super old, and when he said like, "Oh, I'm 18," I'm like, "What? I thought you were like 25." It happens.
That was my reaction. This entire time I thought it was like, oh, 25. Turns out I'm older than him.
Yeah, exactly. When he said he
Sorry,
turned
what?
18, I
My
was
life
like,
turned-
"What?" Yeah. Yeah, Zach is
All right,
19
then
now.
that's
And he looks
new
way
one for me.
older. Yeah, Zach is 19. It looks way older. So I'm just like, yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I've seen a lot of people from my high school that look like Andrew and Emma Stone did, like, by that time.
How old is Tom Holland now? He's like my age now, or
He's
maybe
like
slightly older. He's like
26.
yeah, he's
So-
25, yet he still plays like an 18, 19-year-old character. And I mean, like
He's
it still works.
26. He's 26, yeah.
Also luck? That was pretty, but doesn't
Okay,
make
you told us time is valuable and precious because it ends, but time is also luck. What? Sounds pretty, but doesn't make much. What's the contradiction there? You just said it's valuable and precious. So yeah, time is luck. What? What's the contradiction? Plus, we don't hear the full speech in this scene. You cut out a lot of context as well. Hold on, I'm gonna open the transcript of the film to see the...
Surprised he's commenting on Gwen's script, but not the thing that most people criticize about the scene, which is the don't stop to talk when he tries to get inside the fucking truck.
truck, yeah.
Like he didn't even mention the one most people go for, which is odd.
Hold on. Spider-Man, you can call me Webhead, you can call me... Alright. This year's valedictorian. Okay, good morning, esteemed faculty and families and my fellow graduates. It's an honor to be standing up here today. I know we all think that we're immortal. We're supposed to feel that way we're graduating. But like our brief 4 years in high school, what makes life valuable is that it doesn't last forever. What makes it precious is that it ends. And know that now more than ever. And I say it today of all days to remind us that time is luck. So don't waste it living someone else's life. So you're lucky for having whatever time you have. So you should appreciate it. Because it is finite. How does that not track? What a stupid criticism from Jeremy. It's like, it makes perfect sense. What are you talking about, Jeremy?
I saw a few videos over the last few weeks of people just talking about how undervalued they consider their lives to actually, how undervalued their lives actually are,
Mhm.
and how little gratification people actually give them. Like, most people don't realize just how lucky they are to get home every day alive and to go to work every day alive. I mean, you can
Shandy's
car
talking like
crash.
Jigsaw.
Potentially, but I mean, you can end up in a car crash, you can end up with a heart attack, you can have someone fucking mug you in the middle of the street for your money, you can die of a I mean, my final year of high school, I had a classmate who was just taking the bus to school one morning, and then all of a sudden he just collapsed on the floor, dead on the spot. And the reason why is because apparently there was a blood clot that like went to his brain, and he kind of just died from asphyxiation on the
Right.
spot. Like he was a perfectly healthy guy.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with him. He just died,
Mhm.
just out of the blue. He was the same. He was like 1 year younger than me at that stage, and I had went to school with him for like 2 years by that point, and it was one of the most confusing things that happened to us because the entire year group mourned his death for like 2 weeks because we were all like just stunned at how he died. I mean, something like that happening to a fairly healthy guy. You know, he worked out, he did well in school, he ate well. He wasn't like a hyper junkie or anything, and he didn't really drink too much alcohol. He just died because he was unlucky. So yeah, not to get morbid or anything, but yeah, people just undervalue how lucky they are to have the time that they do.
And that's the point that she's saying, is that, like, life is valuable because it ends, so enjoy whatever time you have because you're lucky to have that time. Like, I don't know how Jeremy thinks this is somehow doesn't make sense. It really tracks. But
But you understand that he's being shitty on purpose?
no, Jeremy would never be shitty on purpose. He was very fair to the films he covers.
Much sense to me. Time is only what you make of it, and luck will or won't happen depending on how much God hates you.
You're stupid. You didn't get the point. The luck is that you're lucky to have time. He's so close to getting the point because time is only what you make of it. That's Gwen's point. And so you should make the best of it because you're lucky to have that time, whatever time you do have. Which is also, like, perfectly encapsulating her arc in the film. But whatever.
Spidey spins in midair to avoid the bullets, but I don't know why that matters if you're spraying a hail of bullets at one fixed target.
It's not a fixed target? He's moving? You just said that? What? What's the criticism there?
That the Russian guy sucks at aiming.
Yeah. He's, like, hip firing as well. So, yeah, his aim's not gonna be the best.
It makes me not.
I mean,
able
it's
to
not
leave.
inconsistent. We see Spidey dodge gunfire at point blank range all the time. It's like one of the first things he does in the Spider-Man suit in the first film, so it's whatever.
Myself.
Peter would rather keep a promise to a dead guy than live his best life with the woman he loves. That's f***ed up.
It's fucked up that he wants to protect the woman he loves. So fucked up.
I'm here to tell you.
I mean, their
promises
entire
are-
relationship is fucked up, so I mean, go
Yeah.
for it.
people aren't all that important. Also, breaking up in Chinatown. Also,
That's a criticism.
Also,
Okay.
There's
Breaking
no
Up in
way that's a
Chinatown
fucking
was,
cliche.
A, the
I'm
original
sorry.
title of Katy Perry's song "Waking Up in Vegas." B, the original title of the Paris Hilton sex tape.
What
C,
is it?
the original
What is
title
What's
of
this?
the
happening?
song
What
Jennifer
is
Aniston's
this?
smash
What the
hit
fuck
Break
is
Up,
this?
Or D, the original title
Who is
of
this
Chinatown.
for?
Oh, that's a sin. Okay. Good for you. Does anyone find that funny? I have no idea what's happening right now.
You have done this to me again.
But this is the best dialogue in the film between these two. It's so good.
It's typically it's as funny as a typical CinemaSins video. I'll give it that.
He wants to keep the level of funny consistent with the rest of his videos to celebrate 10 years of being unfunny.
And again,
Yep.
Peter.
Yeah, totally. Like when you were Kirsten Dunst and he was Tobey Maguire. Skip. How about
What?
All right then.
Is that a
Um,
joke?
I think he's just trying to draw comparisons between the relationship drama from the first trilogy.
But it's
different
super
for
different
most of
because
them, I
in
guess.
this show, like at the end of the first film, they're not together.
No. Problems in both. Problems in both. Therefore, same.
Sure, that makes sense. Wait, Jeremy has a book? What the fuck? Neb said Jeremy criticizing Gwen's speech reminded me he has a book, and then Neb sent like a link for someone talking about his book. The Ables. Oh my god, that's probably a hilarious fucking book. What's it
I
about?
lack the attention span to read anymore, so I probably won't give it a try.
Since this video is long, but it's still shorter than reading the actual book, and this review is more interesting and less offensive. Oh man, this is hilarious. I might watch that video later. Thanks, Neb. At least he is in the film mental level criticism. He said none of it happened. Yeah. I was talking to Zach last night, where I have no idea which is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard on ECUM. The none of it happened was Zach's guess. I mentioned the There was another one that I said, oh, I think that's the dumbest thing. Whose was it? Oh yeah, the 9/11 thing from Ralph. About Tazem Chu. You've seen that, Chandy, right? I think I sent you the link of us reacting to him saying that the Chu planes almost crashing into each other, and Tazem Chu is the writers trying to emotionally manipulate you into caring about these characters because it reminds you of 9/11. It's like a
Do you
comparison.
remember this happening? Yes. I
Yeah,
do.
that is like, yeah, that was my take for the worst thing we've ever heard on Ecom.
That Spider-Man last night on the Manhattan Bridge.
But why should we see that when he's got a nerd to save from a pack of bullies? Oh man, this is so much better than dating Gwen.
What?
That's like one of the best scenes in the movie. That's like,
Yeah, I'm confused. What's happening? It's a montage of him saving people. We're setting up the rest of the film. What's happening?
it's what? That's like
Is he just mad that he fancies Emma Stone and he's like, why the fuck aren't you dating her? Because like same, but like chill.
it's just like that's one of the few scenes that like even people who don't like this film praise that one scene because like it was the scene Andrew Garfield put in. It was like a scene of him actually being down to earth and like actually saving someone like him. It's like and being like very personal. Like it's a fucking phenomenal sort of Spider-Man scene.
Yeah, it's the quintessential Spider-Man beat.
It's at times like these that I imagine all the time Spidey doesn't save people who are about to get hit by cars or stop the convenience store robbery.
Okay. I mean, but it shows the times that he does. Obviously, he's not going to be able to save everyone all the time, but it's showing when he does do that, which is helping people.
That's like a theme of fucking Spider-Verse where they say you can't save everyone. Like,
Well,
you
it's
save
fucking, what is it? Is it Civil War where Cap says that? Our job is to save as many people as we can. Sometimes that doesn't mean everybody, but you don't give up. That's like the quintessential superhero, like, beat. That's how, you know, that's just how superheroes are. They try to help people, and it's showing him helping people as much as he can. But obviously, he can't do that all the time. Like, if he sees someone about to get hit by a car, you think he's just gonna let it happen? Like, obviously not. I don't know.
These montages always make it seem like he's saving everybody. And how many times
No, they don't. They make it seem like he's saving the people he's saving. Why do you have to extrapolate something so stupid like from that?
So this montage is just a continuation of the philosophy that Ben had from the first movie, where if you have the ability to help someone, then it's your responsibility to help them. Peter comes across other people in danger
And
and
he
they
helps
need
them.
help.
Yeah.
So he helps them. Yeah. It's It's also New York City, one of the most crime-ridden, infestatious places on the planet,
Mhm.
next to Brazil. And the place has crime happening on like every street corner. And Spider-Man's not like Batman from the Batman, where he's a symbol of fear. A lot of people still try their luck with Spider-Man because they just view him as a giant goofball. They aren't scared of him, even though he's drastically helping to reduce the crime rate. So they'll still try their luck.
Mhm.
And I mean, like he's just doing what he can as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which is why he was helping a kid being picked on by bullies,
Mhm.
because he cares about the little guy, he cares about the neighborhood, he cares about being, the person that helps people. That's his thing. One of the best scenes, if not the best scene from the first movie, is him helping a kid getting out of a burning car. Like it's
Yeah.
consistent with his character to help people,
I also
no
find it
matter
really
their
weird to
age
say
or size.
this, like, these montages seem like he's saving everybody. He didn't save everybody in the truck scene, right? Like, Peter's saving as many people as he thinks he
He
can.
killed at least 5 people in that truck scene, saving Max Dillon, and I fucking hate that scene for it. But you're right, he didn't save everyone.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think the film is making the point that everyone is being saved. I think it's just
I
like,
honestly
people
hope not, because that would be a fucking lie.
Yeah, I think that would mean Spider-Man's like has super speed. But even then, if you see heroes with super speed in media, they have brain damage and they can never save everyone, despite having the speed to do it. Yeah, I definitely not thinking of Flash right now, but yeah, definitely thinking of Flash.
And it just so happens to be the same time he gets robbed.
Oh my god, it's so contrived that crime happens in New York. Sometimes. Like, it happened to happen. This isn't, like, even relevant to the plot. This isn't contrived. It's just, this happened. We're showing occasions of him helping people. This could have happened, couldn't it? Over, like, the span of,
So
a few months
one thing I
since he
want to
broke
point
up
about
with Gwen. Because he says, like,
one thing
the Chinese place that she likes opened a month ago, which was after they broke up. Because, Peter says he knows that she loves the place. In the scene where he says that he's been stalking her.
One thing I want to point about this montage is that after every time he saves someone, it shows him getting changed out of his suit back home, and as the scene progresses, you see him getting progressively more and more sick and more dirty. So this is just a consequence of those repeated actions where he gets sick after saving a fish trapped in a fucking ravine or something. I don't know. Or
The
just
blue globs that's
inhaling
all
a
over his
whole
suit.
bunch of like smoke and fumes and
Yeah.
sludge and whatnot. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he got sick, so he went and got himself some medicine. And when he got himself some medicine, the store owner was getting held up at gunpoint. So, yeah, good job, Jeremy. You're not at all terrible at your job. Also, something I want to point out about the scene that I find really funny is that a lot of people criticize Peter for getting changed into his Spidey outfit and then putting on the jacket, not realizing how quickly he can do that anyways, and that it literally just takes him like a couple of seconds to just whip out his Spidey outfit. I mean, he does it when he's talking to Gwen and he jumps out of his shoes and has his jacket standing in place, like right next to her, as if he is literally the Flash and he can just
Oh, it's
whip out
also
of his
almost
outfit.
like he's used to doing that, right? Changing into his Spider-Man outfit.
He's
So,
had plenty of practice. I think he's had like a year or two worth of practice of doing this constantly. So obviously he's going to get good at it at some point if you do the same thing over and over and over and over again.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus. Is it still stalking if it's your girlfriend? Yes.
it's a sin that Peter acts in character. I hate when that happens too, man.
I also hate the fact that Gwen calls him out on the fact that he's been following her.
Oh, it's so dumb. Obviously, yeah. If you want to say that it's creepy, sure. Peter's taking care of is looking after his girlfriend because he's still ex-girlfriend because he still cares about her. It's very in character.
Movie.
Fuck you,
She doesn't have
movie.
Spidey sense too, does she? Note to the commenter.
What? She just looked back. What? Oh my.
So I don't know if any of you guys have this, but it happens to me quite regularly when I'm sitting on the bus and I'm like looking at the back of someone's head. I don't know why, but sometimes people can feel you looking at them. It even happens to me
I was
where,
gonna
like,
say
I can feel
that.
someone's looking at me.
I was gonna say that, but I don't know if it is like an actual thing or if it's like we think we can tell when people are looking at us. But yeah, I definitely have
people
that where
paranoid.
I think people like are looking at me and then like I look back trying to look at them. So yeah. But it's also like Peter jumped from a building, like this red figure jumping from a building. It might have caught her eye on like peripheral vision,
Not
right?
just that, she could have seen people in front of her seeing Spider-Man jumping off of the building.
Yeah,
And then they
maybe
could have
someone was
followed quickly
pointing
and looked
there.
up.
Yeah, it's such a small thing. Dear Lord.
Spider-Gwen right
There's
now.
also a burning building several streets down, and people could be looking there.
Yeah.
And then she turns around to see them as they look up. It's like, man, there's several explanations. Look, at least this movie acknowledges that people look up versus something like Spider-Man 1 where people just wouldn't refuse to look up.
Yeah.
Now I lose my...
Come on, man.
Just a second on me, I'm gonna get the door. Just give me a second.
Please just let me in, all right?
The classic Aunt May might find out Peter is Spidey thing happens because Aunt May needs something done with her car. She really needs to get in Peter's room to tell him that, doesn't she? It's so...
No, she's worried that he's not letting her in. And she said, didn't you say that it's time relevant? She's like, oh, you said you'd bring my car to the shop. So, you know, go do that.
very
She also
important.
wants to
And
talk to
why
him
is he
face to
suddenly
face.
struggling
What'd you say, Shane?
She also wants to talk to him face to face.
Yeah, because most people don't like talking through a door. Know that from personal experience.
rude.
My mom hates when I'm talking to her through a door.
Peter's room to tell him that, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
my parents
So
as
very
well.
important. And why is he suddenly struggling to take the suit off? Is it stuck?
It's a tight suit.
It's spandex.
Yeah, it's a tight suit that
That
sticks
is-
to his. It sticks to his body, and I don't know if you've ever done this, but when you have to like take off like what you're wearing very fast, especially if it is like something that's very tight on your skin, you can get it stuck a lot. I did that with
What's that?
hoodies. It doesn't even need to be stuck on your suit. Taking off my hoodie in the middle of class has always been the most embarrassing thing because I get stuck and I am not able to pull it off without calling attention to myself. It happens.
He also just came out of a burning building and is probably like very sweaty because
Yeah.
he is in a burning building. You know, he's getting very hot underneath there. So,
Hmm.
um,
And now he's
sweat
stressing,
on
so
top of a
getting
rubberized
even
suit,
more
so
sweaty.
kind of getting stuck on his skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. You remember my birthday.
Sometime after Ray, Jamie Foxx started thinking everything he did was rad, and that trend sadly continues to this day.
The character he's playing is the opposite of Rad. What are you talking about? What's
They got one of the coolest motherfuckers in Hollywood to play a nerd, and you think he did this because he thought the character was cool?
Yeah, I don't
What?
understand. I mean, that's how he plays him in No Way Home, but that's not how he actually is in this film.
Yeah, he just acts like Jamie Foxx in No Way Home.
Yeah, I was talking to Zach yesterday how much it annoys me because when Max becomes Electro, he gets a lot more confident, right? But he gets confident, but he still has no social awareness. The way he speaks is still like Max speaking, but just now he has the confidence. So he still sounds super goofy. Like the birthday line is hilarious. It's my birthday, now it's time for me to light my candles. Or the don't you know I'm Electro. It's like that's like things Max would do when he has more confidence. And Tasm Chu does it really well. Like his personality remains Max's. He just has more confidence, which is like a progression of his character. Whereas in No Way Home, he's just Jamie Foxx. He completely loses like the Max personality. It feels like a different character, despite it supposedly being the same.
It's just different. It's just different energy, so it gives him a different reaction to everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you the amazing Spider-Man.
Roll credits moments aside, this Max has an
What? Oh, because he
It wouldn't
named
be
the
roll
film.
credits
Okay.
because it's the Amazing Spider-Man 2. So
Yeah, they should call you the Amazing Spider-Man too.
unhealthy
Favorite
obsession
line.
with Spider-Man moment just exacerbates how much time this movie wastes getting to the goddamn story.
What? This is the story.
It's the story.
But
story
his
is happening.
obsession with so his obsession with Spider-Man is really important to be established, and we're establishing a lot of his character in this scene. Like we
So-
need to
so
introduce his
there's
character
something
because if
called-
we don't know how he's gonna have conflict with Spider-Man later in the film. Like the Times Square scene doesn't function without that scene we just had.
So there's something called setup or build up, then there's something called execution, and then there's something called consequences of execution. We're currently still in the build up or setup stage.
Yeah, we're
We haven't
setting.
gotten to the execution part yet, and
Yeah,
we haven't gotten to
we're
the
setting up Max's
consequences.
character for when he meets Spider-Man in Times Square. It all like has enough substance there that you can tell how these characters are gonna react and you know what they're gonna say and what the characters want by that point.
Spidey
Oh,
took out
he
Russian
doesn't
Paul
care. He
Giamatti
didn't
at the
see this movie.
beginning. He broke up with Gwen, and it's taking a fucking lifetime to get to the Electro Park.
This is my laundry, my home, my machine. Back off. Eat your breakfast.
I love that man.
Who serves a lettuce on wheat sandwich for fucking breakfast?
What?
People who can't afford much else.
Yeah, and also I'm sorry, that looks good. I would eat that sandwich.
It's
Wait.
probably more than lettuce on
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna say lettuce on wheat. There surely is more things. We just see the lettuce because the lettuce spills out of the bread. That's how lettuce works. Like, do you think it's just full of lettuce? You can see that there's like a pretty big gap between the two like slices of bread. What?
It's a lot of lettuce.
It's a lot of. Oh, this is so stupid, Jeremy. Why do you have to criticize the? Ah, my Christ.
You know, I often question what we do on here when we're getting to the point we have to explain how sandwiches work.
Oh man, yeah. Having
I'm
to
now going
explain
to put this
sandwiches.
out in my review. Like, wow, I can't believe he eats that much fucking lettuce.
What the fuck are we doing? We're explaining how a sandwich works to someone who's clearly made like 1,000
It looks
sandwiches
like
before.
it's like in those video games where you have to like mount sandwiches, you know, like there's the one where it's like the ingredients falling on top of the bottom
Did you just
slice
say
of
it's a
bread.
mounted sandwich?
Yeah, because you're mounting it exactly because you're the it's like the bottom piece of the bread is on the bottom of the screen. You have to like tilt your phone to get like the ingredients falling on it, and it's like you just let all the lettuce fall on it and nothing else, and it's like it's this huge thing of lettuce.
You see, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, let me get. Okay, hold on. Sandwich game. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna work. Sandwich runner.
Can
is
I
that
get a thumbs up on this video if you two mount your sandwich?
it?
Instead of, you know,
Yes.
just making a sandwich?
It's sandwich. Maybe sandwich runner. Let's see if it's that sandwich runner. Because I've seen a few of these. Come on, I just need a photo of it.
Sandwich run.
No, that's not.
Bootleg
This is
fucking
not.
Chinese app game.
It kind of looks
on your
like it.
fucking
This
phone.
isn't the one I meant, but it kind of shows what I mean about. It kind of showcases what I mean. It's not exactly the one that I meant. There's another video. There's another phone app, phone game that I used to play. But this kind of symbolizes it pretty well. This is the kind of thing I'm saying. Like you mount the ingredients, you know? Yeah.
Are those onions or is that cheese?
I bet it's cheese. No, it's probably eggs. Yeah, it's eggs.
You don't need a license to drive a sandwich. I beg to differ. Some of these people are from the UK. They need a license for everything.
Oh yeah, Sheev, it's your birthday as well.
That's actually why Jeb didn't come in today, because he got arrested for not having a sandwich mounting license.
Exactly. But yeah, it's Sheev's birthday, so happy birthday, Sheev. It's your birthday now. It's your birthday. Now it's time for you to light your candles. We actually got 2 more likes after you asked people to give a like if they mount their sandwiches. So thanks the 2 people who do mount their sandwiches. I can relate.
Top lads. Top lads.
Top
all of them.
lads.
Yeah, you're the best.
Christ, this is the secret life of Spider-Midi. Spider-Man's
Okay, sure. A reference. I love reference humor.
save people from an
Spider-Man
apartment
saves
fire,
people
part
from an apartment
64.
fire, but
That's
yeah,
that's the one we
Spider-Man
saw
saves people.
earlier. That's the apartment that was on fire, and Gwen saw him. jump.
Spider-Man does Spider-Man things.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
no.
a sin that
Tragedy.
Spider-Man saves people, I guess. Okay, I don't understand Jeremy's brain.
All the people in the whole city, he saved me.
Yeah, and even let 1 or 2 people die in a horrific car accident in order to
5.
save you.
He let
I'm
5
still
people
shocked
die.
about it.
It's dark in there. Your eyes will adjust.
Every bit of advice my father gave me on wedding night somehow made it into this script.
Okay, I
Okay.
joke because it's so funny when straight people make jokes about hating their wives. Why does this look like this lens is dirty? You know, like it looks all blurry and smudgy. But like the actual film doesn't look like this. Did Jeremy put like a blur filter on like Premiere? Because the film doesn't look like this.
Do not know.
Okay.
Somehow made it into this script.
I don't believe
I'm still trying to wrap my head
America.
around the fact someone married this man.
I hope it's a joke. It would be funny if he was just joking about his wedding night, but he's actually like an incel. But anyway.
Well, look who's not
probably
getting
not.
an invite to Hot Chocolate Summer Jam in Jamaica this year. Jesus
That's okay.
All right then.
That's a sin.
Christ. They have all this equipment keeping Norman alive and round-the-clock care, but nobody cut his fingernails, which are fucking claws now.
Yeah, he's dying. I don't think he cares about his fingernails. I'm not gonna lie.
Pretty sure at this point he just cares about having like some peace and quiet so he can die in like, you know, calm and reasonable
Yeah, it's why the
environment.
place is fucking dark, because he wants it to be more comfortable, right?
Maybe he just uses the tips for foreplay while he's by himself.
Oh no, why would you say that?
The camera, Sony. The laptop, Sony. The chairs, well, probably not Sony, but you get my point.
A Sony film
no,
has
it's
Sony products.
products.
That is outrageous. I hate this film now.
Product placement is bad, guys. It is bad.
It's
It
so
is
stupid to me because
bad.
literally every film, everything that has a company logo is product placement. If you see a character in a film using an iPhone, it isn't because they just had an iPhone lying around. It's product placement. It's just how it is in filmmaking. If you're gonna have to show some type of equipment, you use it as product placement because that pays for a huge part of the film. Product placement is how films get made. What's the problem? It's not called it's not a product placement like in fucking, what is it, Age of Extinction, where Mark Wahlberg grabs like Bud Light from the ground and takes a drink, like in the middle of the third act. It's so stupid and out of place. It's hilarious. Like this is just
every
things
time
are
I
on
see that
screen.
scene, I do get quite thirsty.
I just find it hilarious. I think it's the funniest thing. He grabs like a can from the ground and is like, okay, now back to the actual film. It's great. There's also the Beats product placement in that film, right? With the
Yeah, the pill.
yeah, what's
The pill.
yeah, the
He gets
pill.
the nanobots to like turn themselves into the pill.
Yeah.
Beat like a...
That film is so stupid.
That film's fucking awful.
The only picture we could get of him was when he scowled at the cameras, getting into a black SUV that makes him look villainous.
He makes him look no, it's the only picture you got of him because he has been like in Europe for 8 years.
He's just arrived in the country and he's like trying to avoid the public.
Yeah. The only picture we got of him was the only time he was out in public. Yes. Well done. He doesn't look villainous.
Not to mention
What
not
what
to
about this
mention
looks
that this
villainous?
is also no. Not to mention that this is also the paparazzi, and a lot of the time news media outlets will use like the absolute worst picture they can get of you just so that
Yeah,
they can
to get more
clicks.
clicks, yeah. Because it's like, oh my god, look at him now. But he doesn't look villainous. He's just walking into the car. Stupidest thing, Jeremy.
Meanwhile,
And how is that a sin? Even if he did look like evil. I don't understand, man.
Well, I just don't get
I
it. How
think
does
it
him walking
was
in the car,
sorry.
like, do they think he's like wearing like a cape, has like a big mustache, and he's going?
Yeah, he thinks the trench coat that Harry's wearing is like he's hiding like weapons inside it, you know. Has a grenade inside. But anyway, Shani, what were you gonna say?
I can't remember which actress it was. I think it was Brie Larson at I think like the Golden Globes or something. There was an actress who had like photos of herself posted on Twitter and on like Reddit and stuff where they're like, oh, this actress went vegan, or this actress went soy, or this actress went like feminist or something bullshit like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
now they look absolutely
Yeah,
terrible.
people love to
And
do the like, oh, before you go vegan, after you go
oh no
vegan.
no no!
And, yeah.
It was Emma Watson. They said that like she got like really old or something.
Oh yeah, that was that photo that was
Oh.
like front facing. I saw that. That was hilarious because Emma Watson still looks
Yeah.
phenomenal, but it was like the one photo that was like from a very unflattering angle and lighting. It was very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like several
remember
other
that.
photos from the exact same events came out, and she looked like herself. She looked normal.
Yeah.
It was just that one unflattering photo.
Yeah.
Bro, imagine complaining about something so basic.
SUV that makes him look villainous. Meanwhile, in the underground Oscorp level, entirely devoted to the study of electric eels. Wait, what? Let's talk about.
What's the problem? You didn't outline a criticism. You just said they study electric eels. Yes, Oscorp, which is known for studying cross-species genetics, has studies of other species to help develop new technologies. That is very bad. Yeah, for real. I agree, man. I don't know.
This
I
villain.
just
He
like
gets
eels because they go sparky.
shocked real bad. So bad he falls into an. electric eel pit. Remember, Oscorp is half aquarium. Gets shocked some more, this time underwater, and that turns him into electricity in liquid and gas form?
Yeah, these eels that have mutated DNA based on Oscorp's studies on them, when they come into contact with the human that is being shocked and inside the water liquid, turns him into electro. Yes, we don't know exactly how these eels are mutated. It's just like
So
suspicion of disbelief, right?
I actually do think I know. In one of Richard Parker's like recorded video sessions that he has with Kirk Connors, he actually points out that he uses radioactive isotopes and human DNA mixed into the spiders to make them more, enhanced,
Yeah.
so he can transfer the DNA into humans. So I'm pretty sure that somewhere along the line, they probably must have done the same thing with the eels. Where
Yeah, they
just
did
mixed in
with
radioactive isotopes.
lizards because of Connor, so it makes sense to do it with eels as well, and they just reuse the eels to, like, once they got rid of this cross-species genetics shit, they just kept the eels and using them for a different purpose. So that would make sense.
Well, I
like the
mean,
same way they do with the spiders in the first film to make the webs. So yeah, that makes sense.
They probably realized that they could do other productive things with other animals once they realized, oh, even though the cross-species genetics thing didn't happen with the spiders, we still managed to get this incredibly valuable resource out of them in the
Yeah,
form
there's
of
still
their,
assets. They're not
webs.
going to get rid of them, so using them in different ways, yeah.
So, naturally speaking, you're probably like, okay, what other animals can we do this with? And then one person's like, what about eels?
Yeah,
We can get,
that's
like,
kind of the
unlimited
point, right?
supply of
It's that
electricity from them.
Connors, after Richard left, the studies kind of halted, so he tried with like a bunch of different animals, and the one he focused on the most was lizards because of the regrowing limbs thing. But they did try with different animals even in Richard's time. So yeah, I think that just makes sense. I don't know.
It's not like we don't use animals in the real world for our own specific reasons.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of insulin for a long time was pig insulin, like just like what it was sold and manufactured as, because it was easier to use. Like, it's fine.
I mean, we get beauty products from sharks. For fuck's
Yeah,
sake.
yeah, we use animals for a lot of things.
Man with water and electricity? This Electro in this specific movie might be the most yada yada villain of all time. I know more about how Pennywise works than this fucking guy.
Hey, Harry.
You don't.
Is it really that complicated? It's a case of he gets shocked, falls into a vat of electric eels. Like, is that really the most complicated thing in the world? Like everyone says it is, or is it just everyone is really fucking stupid?
It's just, I guess, suspension of disbelief. Like trying to over explain something that is just like sci-fi logic, But introverted robot, yeah. He said, "Oh, Jeremy is getting to the popular nitpick everyone talks about. I imagine it was the tooth gap, but he skipped over it. So good on you, Jeremy. You didn't mention the tooth gap. Very low bar, but you didn't mention like the thing that everyone hates. But that isn't a problem. So good on you.
I'm disappointed.
It would be great if we had to address the tooth gap thing for the like billionth time.
No, because then I could just call him stupid and move on.
Go visit my old buddy at work after his father died, and he's probably busy as with new Oscorp duties without a single phone call.
Yeah, he has his phone number. Definitely Jeremy. It's not like he hasn't seen him in 8 years.
It's not like a surprise visit is typically what you do for people who just lost their family, and you don't go, "Oh, hi, I'm sorry that your dad died. Here's a random ass phone call from someone you haven't seen in 10 years."
Yeah, he doesn't have his phone number. It's that simple. But it's also like he comes in and he says, "Oh, I'm Peter Parker. Came to see Harry Osborn." And then Harry secretary comes and tells him, right? And he's like, "Okay, well, let's get done with this meeting, and I'm gonna talk to my friend." And then he goes and talks to his friend. Harry even says, "Oh, I got a room full of people." And Peter's gonna leave, and then he makes the joke, and they start being friendly again. But like I don't see the problem with that. Like if Harry was busy, he could just say like, "Oh, send Peter away," and Peter would be like, "Oh, okay, sorry, I'll come in another time," or something like that.
The scene before this specifically displays Harry as not giving a shit about the people he's talking to, and he delegates the job of having to talk to them to Felicia, because he says, "Felicia, from now on, you guys will all be working for Felicia because Felicia works for me." he's delegating the role of having people talking to him to her because he's going to be busy with his own shit, likely with the USB drive that his dad gave him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Jeez.
people, this movie is actually a lot better than you give it credit for if you just pay attention to some of the more, subtle stuff that does. Not even that,
it's
like,
not-
you really need
Hold
to
up,
question
Peter just
it, whatever.
graduated high school. He's 18. 8 years ago, he was fucking 10. So is this movie saying this is a supposedly strong friendship?
No, it's saying it is not a supposedly strong friendship because they haven't seen each other in 8 years. That's the point of the scene. That they haven't seen each other in 8 years. What are you talking about? It's not a strong friendship.
They haven't seen each other since they were fucking 10 years old? At 18, I didn't even remember my friends from 4th grade.
What? I do. I'm 19.
I do.
I'm 19. I remember my friends from 4th grade. Especially, like, how is he not gonna remember Harry when, firstly, Harry was there for him as a friend when Peter lost his parents? That's the dialogue that is present in this scene. But not only that, it's Harry Osborn, the son of, like, the CEO of the biggest company in the world. And Peter even says he saw him in the news a bunch of times. Like, he even says, like, the fucking French motto, you know? Like, obviously he's gonna remember his friend. I don't know, man. I don't understand Jeremy.
Let alone feel any kind of attachment to them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna feel attachment to the guy who just lost his dad, who was there for me when I lost my parents. That's, yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy's view on friendships is incredibly odd.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I'll be surprised if he actually has any friends.
Dude, that whole model thing is so exhausting.
I
Didn't have time to show you
know.
what great buddies Peter and Harry are and were. So now we're gonna grind this fucking thing to a halt to show you just that before Harry turns into the Green Goblin.
Oh no, character development before character becomes the fucking antagonist. Oh, no, blah, blah, blah.
None of that.
I like glue. It tastes funny when I mix it with my toast.
We're gonna show these two characters bonding because their bond is important for later in the film, and that's bad. Thank you. I am the owner of CinemaSins. Even though it's not canon, the unofficial 2001 sequel game Cross Species gets more explored with Scorpion and Rhino getting so mutated they transform from normal animals to half humans. Yeah, I didn't know that,
I
but yeah,
like
that could
the
be interesting.
I like the first game. The second game is poo.
I only played the second game.
The second game is poo.
I don't remember much of it. I remember I got it as a present, like the Xbox 360 game. I played it for a while when I was younger, and I don't have it anymore, the CD, and I have no idea how. If I did, it might work on my Xbox One X actually because of backwards compatibility. Yeah. So if I do, I'm gonna try to play it. But anyway.
Also, what the hell is this scene? Peter and Harry left the Oscorp estate, which was established to be somewhere near Central Park earlier. Now they're somewhere near the Manhattan Bridge.
You see,
Which is at least-
Jeremy, when friends are walking around, they walk.
I mean, okay, so 7 miles would be a lot to walk, but like, Harry has like drivers, right? Like he could just have a driver take them somewhere.
Not just that, but they're both 18, 19-something-year-old teenagers. They're both in their prime. They both are relatively fit, and they haven't seen each other in years. If they wanted to walk those 7 miles, they probably could have.
I mean, it's
just so that
11
they could spend more
kilometers.
time
I
together.
doubt Harry would walk that much. But it's just, what?
He hasn't been in New York in ages. They could take a ferry, they could take a cab, they could fucking ride in the back of a horse carriage. New York has those things. There's a ton of ways for them to get around the city that doesn't involve Harry needing to get a driver.
Also, I'm sorry. He
But
says
even if they just walked, they probably could have.
the second part of the point is regardless of whether they walked, drove, or took the subway, they've somehow been followed by a surveillance van. Yes, the surveillance people are good at surveilling. That is the problem in the film.
That probably works.
You gave the movie shit for saying that. Fucking. You were complaining that Richard Parker took a private jet because you're like, oh, this thing would definitely be followed and fucking records would be kept of this private plane. Yet you're surprised that they're being followed by a car in New York City? Are you ill?
S-Corp is only as competent as it suits Jeremy's narrative about the film.
Does he expect the surveillance car to be like a clown car that goes like when like it rolls up?
Yeah, I'm just so confused. Yeah, in terms of surveillance, yes, surveil. You do know that like probably one person followed them if they did go into the subway and told the person in the van like they're going this place, so you know go there, so that you can listen to their conversation. It's just such a. It's so simple. It's such a. I don't understand, man. Surveillance is not that hard. Like, especially for a big company like this who can hire like spies. I'm so confused.
What is it with this video and having to explain like very basic concepts?
I don't
This is
know.
how sandwiches work. This is how friends work. This is how following someone works. Like, come on.
Explaining how sandwiches work is still the best. The best bit.
One,
Are you gonna say something, Shandy?
I was going to, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, this sounds stupid even for me, so I just dropped it.
That's good.
7 miles from that location. Regardless of whether they walked, drove, or took the subway, they've somehow been followed by a surveillance van with Donald Mencken in it, who was at the meeting Harry just left from. How the does Mencken coordinate something like that?
He says, "Hey, keep it." He tells one of his spies, "Hey, keep an eye on Harry. I'm gonna get in a van. It's gonna drive me wherever he goes." No, he probably didn't. I think he got in the van because he wanted to talk about like dealing with things, right? Because he was talking about Electro. He's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get my team of spies to follow Harry. In the meantime, I'm gonna talk to them about this other spy thing that I'm getting them to do for me." And that's why he was in the van, because he even leaves the van later, right? So yeah.
And how does Peter not have spider sense working?
Peter can't send someone like what
Not
mile.
have no idea who Mencken is or why he should even.
It's
be
just a
following.
van, and it's like on the other side of the pier, and he has his guard down, and it's just like it's a van. It's not a van. It's an
Peter
SUV.
sensed them for any specific reason because of spider sense, I would be annoyed at the movie for introducing a power like this for no fucking reason.
Yeah, because it's not he's not like he's in danger. The thing about the thing about Spidey sense is when he senses like danger to like either himself or like other people, right? It's like why he senses
that's not
Lizard and
that's
Electro.
not how that really works in this movie. The way it works in this movie is that it gives him enhanced senses that he already has, which is why he's able to sense things like spiders walking in his room or things like the what you call it, the window curtain things. What are they called? The blinds, the window blinds.
Oh yeah,
with, like,
because
a shit ton of
also,
noise coming in the
so
first
yeah, he
movie.
hears the police sirens and the noise made from Lizard, and that's why he hears them in the first film. And then here with Electro is he hears the commotion in Times Square, right? That caused by Electro. Because
So
the
it's
car alarms went off and everything. So it's just enhanced like senses. So why would he sense a van? I don't.
It's why when he
understand.
like first gets spider powers, the water droplet kind of sounds like it's this massive explosion on his forehead, and he like jumps to the ceiling because he's like scared, or he's like shooketh.
Mm.
The spider sense in this movie is different to how it is in the Raimi movie, because in the Raimi movie it is kind of like precognition, but yeah, it's literally just like
Enhanced senses.
I guess you could call it an early warning system, but it's just him being like more he can just perceive more than the average person to like the nth degree.
Yeah, it's like kind of like Daredevil in the show, but he has the agility to go with that, right? Because Daredevil still has the agility of a normal human, so he wouldn't be able to like dodge gunshots.
Have you seen the fucking Ben Affleck movie?
Oh no, yeah, I'm talking about the show. We don't have to talk about that, but I did watch the Batman movies. It's hilarious.
That dude is more superhero than Captain America.
Yeah,
he
it's
does
amazing.
Insane shit.
It's great. That Batman movies was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty
Somehow been
funny.
followed by a surveillance van with Donald Mencken in it, who was at the meeting Harry just left from. How the does Mencken coordinate something like that? And how does Peter not have spider sense working? Also, if they were just gonna do a harmless outdoor activity while they talked, why the would these two not just walk to Central Park 2 blocks away and feed the ducks or something?
Because they're
Probably because they
teenagers
went to New
with a
York
lot
and
of
haven't been there in a
energy
while.
and who don't want to stay put, like feeding ducks, which is why they walk around like a lot when we see them at near the Manhattan Bridge there. Like, what's the problem?
Because like, did Jeremy just really want Spider-Man feeding ducks in his movie? Because I know he'd complain about that.
He wanted them to go to
He
Central
complains that
Park.
The story set itself up.
He
He
likes
complains about
Central
Spider-Man
Park more than he likes the Manhattan Bridge, so that's why.
I like location scouts, but we're either paying them too much or we're not giving them enough information.
You gotta admit though, things have gotten crazy around here, man. Giant lizards and spider guys.
Cronuts. Max discovered
Hilarious. He said Krona. I don't get the joke, but he said a thing.
discovers an insane power. But because the movie refuses to acknowledge him as a human being, we get this creation of a monster scene.
What? Did you watch the film? What?
No, at this point, I doubt it.
Complete with the men putting on a hoodie to cover up his appearance. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think you would you not want to hide your appearance if you look like a bright, sparkling blue weird man?
He might also just be cold.
That's true. Jeremy, please tell me what your problem actually is, because I have no clue. He's just saying things.
He's a hack who has no real talent, so he's just saying random shit because he knows he's got 10 million subscribers who will eat it up anyways.
Yeah, the point is
it's
like...
a 10-year anniversary and he had no real plan of what he was doing, so he just wrote crap and went with whatever was working. That's his problem.
It's like, oh, Max isn't acknowledged as a human being, even though we have spent scenes showing that he's a human being. But those scenes shouldn't have been in the film, right, Jeremy? Because them being in the film is bad, because it's wasting time. So he isn't a human being, because the scenes where it's established that he is a human being with feelings shouldn't be in the film. So that's a good point, Jeremy. And then it's just like, oh, when he becomes a monster, the film shows him as a monster. It's like, yes, he finds himself monstrous at that moment. You think that's bad? That makes perfect sense. He was just changed and got like weird, really weird powers and a really weird change in appearance. And he is seeing himself how everyone else would, which is as a monster. Peter's the one who talks him down and is like, no, you're not a monster. But then because the policeman shoots Electro, people do see Electro as a monster. He sees himself as a monster, but he embraces it instead of trying to fight it. Which is why he's later in the film like, don't you know, I'm Electro. Like, he's embracing that he is different because he means he's more powerful. It's like a very human thing. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't understand any of this, even to the putting on a hoodie thing somehow being like a tell-all sign of a monster scene. Like,
it's just
like
fucking Elliot and Mr. Robot is a monster because he always wears a hoodie.
I somewhat doubt the hoodies were invented back like when the first Frankenstein came out. Like,
don't you know, man? The first ever Frankenstein scene has him putting on a hoodie and being like, I'm hideous. Jeremy, good on you for trying. I don't think you're even trying, but you know.
He tried, but he hurt
on
himself.
A hoodie to cover up his appearance. The man talked to himself constantly. Don't we want to hear what he has to say about his newfound situation?
I mean, we don't really have to. Even it really is my birthday would have been fine. Cinnabon, but fine. So it's an issue. So you're trying to add an issue. Okay. We see what he is thinking when he talks to Peter later in the film, in the Times Square scene. Don't you have any patience? He's like completely overwhelmed. He can't like even talk to himself by that point. And when he was talking to himself in that scene earlier, he was talking to like a mirror. He was having a dialogue with Spider-Man in his head. It makes sense for him to be talking. He's never like just talking to himself, like having like a dialogue with himself. He's having a dialogue with an imaginary version of Spider-Man. It's completely different.
Why do I feel like Jeremy would want one of those like a freeze frame and goes, yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation, so.
That would be hilarious. But it's also like, I'm sure, 100% sure he's gonna send the Electro theme, having the Pharrell lyrics, you know, that he lied to me and everything, which is literally what he's asking for. I hate this.
Even it really is my birthday.
Also,
it would have been fine.
hot take, but if you dislike that song, you have no taste.
Agreed.
Cinnabon, but
Agreed.
fine. I'd play the God's Casio keyboard soundtrack music for Electro here, but I'm a little gun-shy about music these days. Point is, what starts out sounding like Electro's theme as a piece of music ends up being presented as some kind of electronic music he himself is producing on purpose by the end of it, and that is whack.
What's whack? You just pointed out something really cool. Why is it whack? Well, how is this whack? He's just saying, oh, this happens in the film. That's bad. Even though, like, it makes perfect... It works really well. It's a piece of music being presented, some kind of electronic music. He himself is producing on purpose by the end of it. Isn't that cool? That we're seeing, like, the electricity coursing through, like, his brain by that point, and that becomes the music. Isn't that really neat? I think that's a really neat concept.
As a Devil May Cry player, I am quite a big fan of music that sounds like it's something the character himself would be listening to in universe. like it's their own theme song.
Yeah.
It's quite cool.
These two had made it, and the movie characters too.
If we're gonna
Sure. That's a sin that Gwen
Is it
died
talking
and
about how, like,
they both
Andrew
broke
and-
up.
Andrew and Emma split up in real life or something?
Yeah, that's the joke. I really wish that you hadn't broken up. And the joke is that, oh, I'm talking about the actors and not the characters. And then he's like, oh, but the characters too. See, that's the joke.
It's so fucking sad how literally the day that they broke up, Andrew got the news that he won't be playing Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah.
Literally the exact same day.
Poor fucking
That is
guy.
tragic.
It is.
be friends, I think we gotta establish some ground rules.
Skip all the skips. Every
Okay.
Right.
You're gonna skip, like, what are the best scenes in the film? It seems that even haters like is the two characters talking, right? Like, people say the best things about these two films is Gwen and Peter, and the Spider-Man shit is the bad parts. Like, a lot of haters say that. So, I don't know, man.
one of these cars has a car alarm.
They hate it. They skip it.
Firstly,
they
how do you know?
sin it. Cinema.
I'm sorry, how does he
sin.
know that every car has a car alarm? He's hearing a bunch of sounds coming from these cars. How can he, like, identify it, like, every single car alarm? He can't, so he's wrong. But even if he did, is that a problem that people have car alarms?
Like,
I thought most cars had car alarms.
Infested city in the world. Like, of course, people are gonna have car alarms. And
Yeah, it's fucking New York. Yeah.
One of these cars has a car alarm. I thought I skipped this.
It's funny.
been following me?
He has, and yet this is another movie that's going to give me a stalked girl who is charmed by it instead of repulsed.
Yeah, but did you miss the point? She's charmed because she didn't want to break up with him. It's like, yeah, this one character is charmed by him.
This is wait,
trying to
hold on,
follow
no,
her.
no, 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 no. This is also consistent with how she behaves in the first movie, because when she confronts Peter in Oscorp for following her, she isn't repulsed and she isn't upset. She's intrigued by why he would be doing that, and she questions him about it further. She likes him and she's interested in him, and she wonders if he has the same interest in her, which is why she isn't repulsed by him.
Yeah, and at this point, it's like she realized that Peter is still in love with her, which she likes because she is still in love with him, and she didn't want to break up with him. So it shows that he still cares a lot about her. Like, it's obviously, and he's not like saying stalking. He's following her to make sure she's okay. It's not the same as because he's Spider-Man. You know, he can actually do something if she isn't okay. If you're just stalking a random woman, in real life, I don't think that's gonna be charming, because that's not really the same thing. Like
Also,
actual
most people
stalking.
don't look like Andrew Garfield, so
That's also true.
Listen, literally none of the girls I ever stalked were cool with it, but the movie makes it seem all hunky-dory.
probably because you're a creep
Sure, you
IRL.
can sense something going on in Times Square when Max is behind it, but you can't figure out when
We already addressed this, but this is so stupid.
bad guys are recording your conversation with Harry. Have you ever thought your spider sense might be racist? How does
Yeah, it hates blue people. Don't let Peter watch Avatar.
he know to save this one guy with all the cars going in different
Have
directions?
you guys been seeing that shit on Twitter where quote unquote like what was the word that was being used to describe them? Like I saw it like a wee while ago. Like minorities and shit like that. Groups from minorities were like trying to boycott Avatar 2 because of its depiction of blue people.
Oh
And,
yeah,
like, how
it's
supposed to be
of
expanded to
indigenous
minorities.
people. Yeah, of indigenous people. Yeah, it was
Indigenous. That's the word I was
Yeah,
looking
that's
for,
it's
yeah.
still, it makes absolutely no sense, because both films are very like pro indigenous people. It's just it created its own like indigenous species so that it doesn't like culturally appropriate them. It's weird. I don't understand. People are weird.
It just reminds me of the black people orcs argument that was being made a few years ago, and it's like,
Yeah.
hey, if you want to see yourself as a blue monkey, go for it, man. You do you, boo boo. Me on the other hand, I'll just watch the fucking space aliens. Okay.
Your spider sense might be racist? How does he know to save this one guy with all the cars going in different directions?
He can save them all at the same time. I imagine he was swinging from that direction, and so he was like, I have a chance to save this one person, so I will. I think that's probably the most reasonable thing to assume, instead of thinking that none of the cars hit other people or close to hitting other people. But to be fair, that one police officer was the closest to these cars, because the rest, they have like barricades and everything. around here, so the cars actually fly way further away than that one cop car did.
Also, you're saying out of all the cars that just got shot into all the different directions.
Yeah, you can actually see those cars didn't hit people. So yeah, Peter just used his eyes.
With all the cars going in different directions. Also, you're saying out of all the
Hold
cars
on.
that just got shot into all...
Like here, you can see these ones are just toppled over. The ones that were in front of Electro were thrown further away. So yeah, they didn't hit the other people. Peter just used his eyes. Okay,
Well, now I
Jeremy.
have to explain how eyes work.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeremy. See, where face is facing somewhere and you have your eyelids open, you can actually perceive things with your eyes if you aren't blind.
all the different directions. He's the only asshole to nearly get hit by one? What? Gwen is here? Look how far away that is from where they were eating ice cream. She walked 25 blocks that quickly. And how did she know this was something she wanted to witness?
What, her boyfriend
'Cause
fighting
he didn't look
someone?
off in that direction,
Yeah,
and he suddenly stripped off.
Yeah, her boyfriend fighting a villain on like Times Square might be something she cares about. Yeah, she does get here quick. I guess it doesn't matter though. Yeah, it just doesn't matter. I don't know what else to say. It just
She's
genuinely
close
doesn't matter.
enough to hear the sirens herself. She's not that far away.
It's also like I'm pretty sure it's the scene is edited like out of order. Because with like what happens with Electro and then we cut back to Peter, because the noise Peter hears, I'm pretty sure like what Peter hears to get him to Times Square, I'm pretty sure is like when Electro's arriving at Times Square and not like when he's already like all grabbing the cables and everything. It's just edited the way it is to like fit more like pacing wise.
I don't even understand why this is a contention. Like, is it not just like a good faith thing to just say, oh, she was close enough that she actually got here on time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, this is Times Square. It's a popular tourist destination. A lot of people spend their time here. Peter and Gwen are already out in public, enjoying their time, grabbing ice cream and just exploring the city. You could just argue that they are in Times Square because it's a popular destination to go.
A lie. Can someone tell me what kind of a world we live in where a man dressed up as a spider steals all of my press? Wow.
It's a joke because he referenced what, Joker? Is that it? I don't know. He referenced something.
Went from being a faint.
Was it not JJ?
Isn't it? I have no clue. He referenced something and it's stupid because it's not a point. He's like, hey, this thing happened in the film, and I'm gonna say it in the voice of someone. So.
No, wait, I know what he is. I think he's referencing Joker from the '89 film actually.
Where
it's like, where's a man dressed like a bat stealing all my press?
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah.
Cool. So glad we know that now. The joke is hilarious.
From being a faint clue about imminent events to a full-on Quicksilver once around the scene before I have to act, and that.
No, he's not moving. What are you talking about? It is slow motion because we're seeing it. The camera is telling us what's happening, so that we can follow the action once it does happen. Has he never seen this where like we have a freeze frame where the camera goes around and shows like every component to when the character does everything they have to, so we understand why they're doing it? It's very simple. People are running up the stairs and two people might touch the railings that have electricity. Peter, it's established that one of Peter's web shooters aren't working and he needs to stop the car. It's falling. And then he does that in like normal speed, just showing us why he's doing what he's doing. It's so when does he ever Quicksilver in this film? He doesn't have super speed. He's just showing us. Fuck you.
Now it's time for me to light my candles.
Then a whole bunch of bullshit happens. Something with a fire hydrant, I don't know. Steals all...
It's a sin that I didn't pay attention to the film. Okay.
All the electricity sends out a wave of electricity, which physically destroys buildings and...
No, it destroys billboards. Things that have electricity. That have a huge surge of electricity. You can see only billboards falling, not buildings. Like, see, the buildings are fine.
I'm starting to understand why and how this movie ended up with 9 credited writers.
I don't. Okay. It's bad that Electro steals energy and then he blasts it out, and that means that it's bad. So 9 writers, because it's all a mess. Because Electro does something that is consistent with his powers.
Nope, not even the director.
I actually find it really impressive that this movie's writing is as good as it is because two of the credited writers were responsible for fucking turd blossoms like Transformers,
And
Revenge
the
of the
Star
Fallen, and Dark
Trek
of the
new
Moon.
films, the new shows.
Yeah, the Star Trek new films, the Cowboys versus Aliens movie, and
Yeah.
it's like, holy hell, how are you guys responsible for this?
Well, I'm pretty sure one of the writers wrote Zodiac, but other than that, yeah, it is funny.
I mean, he is helping firefighters shoot water at Max.
I actually
but
think
don't
that
know
that's a big reason for why people have a negative bias towards this movie because, like, oh
Oh,
well,
yeah.
they're responsible
People
for
hate
making
Alex
these
Kurtzman,
horrible.
yeah.
I mean, it's a big thing that people give Ryan Johnson shit for. They're like, oh yeah, no, we can't say that he's an altogether horrible writer and director because he did make the best episode of Breaking Bad or second best. I don't fucking
Yeah,
care.
he directed 2 episodes of Breaking Bad, yeah. 3 episodes, I think.
It's almost like people are capable of making good things and bad things. Ridley Scott, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas.
Ridley Scott is the best example, yeah. The guy who made Alien and then made fucking Prometheus and
I thought
Alien
fucking George
Covenant.
Lucas was the best example because he made A New Hope and the prequels, and the prequels are garbage. Hot take, I know.
Nope, not even the director. I mean, he is helping firefighters shoot water at Max, but I don't know why that had to be a big
Hell.
surprise.
It wasn't a big surprise. We're seeing real people reacting in realistic ways to
Sam
this
Raimi.
situation. That's it.
Sam Raimi made Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, one of the worst films I've ever seen. And to be fair, he's not like entirely responsible for that, but still.
I mean, you
Fuck.
can just... Yeah, I mean... hold on. This silly person said they would join us. Hello, Zach.
Hi.
Hi, Zach.
I've been listening to the entire stream and it's really bugging me. Not the stream, obviously, just
the video.
The stupidity of the criticisms.
Yeah, I imagine. Have you joined the watch together? You have. You're fast.
I have.
Well done. So yeah, Zach is here. Woo.
Alright, folks.
Visual jokes are fun, but not when they mean Spider-Man took time out of this urgent mission to put on a fireman's hat just for a visual joke.
I was talking about that with Zach yesterday. Like, I'm sure he was like, get me the hose, and then while they were turning the hose on, he just like webbed a firefighter's hat and put it on, right? Like,
and well, here's the
why
here's
does
the
it
funny
matter?
thing, right? Like, if you show that shot, it suddenly does not become problematic, but because Jeremy like de facto takes a bad faith position, anything that could have a good faith interpretation will be given a bad faith interpretation.
Yeah, which is what everyone does with this film, to be fair.
I was just going to say health and safety first. He's protecting his head.
I think it's kind of a nice gesture as well to show that he's like a part of these people that are helping, you know? Like they're like public servants helping people just like in any situation, like showing like, hey, I'm one of you.
Well, it's a good progression from where he was in the first movie, where he was public enemy number 2 to the police in general, even though the people had already accepted him by that point. And now it's like, oh no, even the police and the firemen accept him too. He's now a part of the city. He's an extension of who they are. It's like, yeah, obviously he would be helping people. Obviously he'd be working with the police. Obviously he'd be wearing firefighter hats because he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and putting on a firefighter hat, I'm sure it does not take very long, Jeremy, but you know, maybe you've been a firefighter, you know what actually takes like 30
I'm actually really
seconds.
looking forward to the other video that I wanted to cover, which I think only Sky here knows about. And I'm hoping that something like this gets mentioned too, because holy
Oh,
fuck,
I'm pretty
would that
sure
be-
it I'm pretty sure it does.
would that
yeah.
be on point with the style of criticisms that I typically get from that group?
Yeah.
God damn, people are fucking dying, dude. Holy Christ, this guy likes posable lamps. I don't dare.
Yes, he has lamps in his room. That's a sin.
Play the audio for the
I
song.
pray Jeremy never sees my room. He'd lose his shit.
Yeah. He didn't mention
I wonder what
he didn't
Jeremy's
mention
room
the
looks like.
vinyl records though. I mentioned that like twice yesterday.
Yeah.
He's not on my level.
Reasons, but the second Amazing Spider-Man movie has an on Philip Phillips song set to a montage. It's weird.
It fits. I mean, the lyrics fit perfectly the scene. I don't like the song itself, but it fits. So it's not weird. What is weird
Not
about
just
it?
that,
It's
but
just
it's diegetic. It's a song. It's the song Peter's listening to in the scene.
Yeah, and it's the type of music a teenager in 2014 would be listening to. I don't get it. Bro, this video has 250,000 views and he has 2 subscribers. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's the sin.
Does he say that? Oh, he does. I
Yeah,
just
that's what
pointed
he's
it out.
singing.
Okay, he's actually singing it. Okay, I just thought that was funny. Bro, and his other videos have like 500,000 views, 60,000 views, 70,000 views. I don't think Mark Webb thought it through in terms of how many subscribers he would have.
I don't think Mark Webb was in control of that. I think it was whoever they sent the VFX request to.
Yeah, that's true.
To fill it out, and they were just being lazy as hell.
I'm interested in knowing your thoughts on Cosmos TASM 2 video. Did we cover that? Oh, that's the one TASM. No, that's the one TASM 2 video we haven't covered.
And you will not. You are banned from that one. That's mine. That is my one.
That's the one we still have to cover. We're gonna cover it on 55, but we didn't. I don't remember why. But yeah, that's a video we didn't. That's been our backlogs, like the last TASM 2 video we have not covered on ECUM. You covered it though, Zach, on like a stream on your channel. That's why you think we've covered it.
That's right, yeah.
Videos that get into the hundreds of thousands of views, but only 2 people who subscribe.
To be fair, the videos are very short, and he doesn't tell them to subscribe. I mean, not that only 2 people would be subscribed.
He's about to sin that. The videos are short.
Also, this video does nothing except tell you if the incoming charge exceeds the outcoming charge, the battery could explode. That's f***ing it.
Yeah, short, informative videos.
Do you have
like...
any idea how stupid fucking high school students are?
And it's also, I'm sorry, it's probably the type of thing that I wouldn't know. So knowing that, I'm like, oh, okay, now it's a place to start starting from.
Now?
Yeah.
Like the Dr. Jowling's science investigator was ahead of his time because he was just making YouTube shorts before YouTube shorts.
Well, I just think it's like, it's fine, right? Like if you're gonna make a video like this, it's like, okay, so this is like the basics of it. If you want to learn more, probably like in the description, he has a link to like his book on, batteries and charges. It's like, I don't know, man. It's sitting such stupid things. It's like, this type of video is helpful. I've watched videos like this that have helped me when I'm doing research.
This video isn't getting.
I mean, Gwen reminds Peter of an 8th grade science thing that they did because he completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
Like people can always use.
Well, Peter probably
you don't retain every piece of information you get, so a little reminder is always helpful.
Yeah, Peter was probably just like searching about like the things relating to batteries, and once he searched this video, he got the idea for what to do with the information he got. I don't. Whatever.
1,000 views and 92 likes to 0 dislikes for that. In fact, just the word battery is going to get some asshole to dislike the video before they even watched it.
I need to find
that asshole is Jeremy.
Why does Harry think that just because Peter took a photograph of Spider-Man that he's in good with Spider-Man?
Because he's the closest.
He's the official photographer.
He's the closest anyone has gotten to Spider-Man. Like, who the fuck else is?
We were talking about this last night, where this is a clear example of like rich boy brain.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, his only viable connection to Spider-Man is Peter, and even though Peter makes the whole argument where he's like, I took the photo with the long lens, there's nothing, that's when rich boy brain kicks in and he's like, I'm Harry Osborn, bitch.
Yeah, like don't walk away from me.
I get what I want.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where like it's the only connection he has. Like there's no other way for him to talk to Spider-Man, right?
But I mean, like, this is even a defense for the first Spider-Man, so Raimi Spider-Man. It's not a bad leap to get to. If you're like the one person who can consistently get good shots of this character in question, then it's not a leap to say that you might have something other people don't. So it's always good to just check it out and like see if it's a good lead or not. If it's not, then it's not. But at least you tried, and it's a good like starting point to go forward.
Yeah,
and obviously Peter doesn't deny the fact after like a bit more questioning, and he even says like he'll try his best to get it through. He does deny it initially, but then afterwards he realizes this is not getting through to Harry. He's just like, I'll see what I can do. So
yeah.
Remember in the previous series when Harry knew this about Peter because he regularly took pictures of him and claimed.
Yeah, what Peter does the same. What? Peter does the same. He takes regular pictures of Spider-Man. She sold a lot of pictures to JJJ.
He's the official photographer. His name is in the newspaper. Harry shows him the newspaper in the scene.
Yeah, and we see him emailing JJJ new pics, and even we see in his email history there's like more emails that he exchanged with JJJ that were talking about Spider-Man pictures. So like it's not the first time he's done it. He mentions being paid by JJJ for his pictures when he's talking to Aunt May.
The email that we saw last night where
Yeah.
JJJ
He paid like
offers him
$10.
for
Yeah,
the whole set.
he said $10 for the whole set. It was hilarious.
Claim to know him somewhat. What in this series makes anyone think Peter knows him?
I gotta talk to you about England.
Please do. Please talk about England. We've still got an hour. Why not? Peter.
You wanted more of these two. What are you talking about?
Give us character.
Earlier in the
Don't
video,
give
he was
us
like, "Oh yes, let's focus now on Electro doing stuff, when instead of Peter and Gwen talking about Peter and Gwen being together. Now Peter's like, I want to be with you, and he's like, no, I don't want that. It's wasting time. What do you want, Jeremy?
Peter does a routine straight out of Now You See Me Too to create a distraction so Gwen can get on the elevator before security gets to her. But then she rides down many flights. Like, does the company have security only on the 24th floor? They couldn't radio downstairs?
How would they know what direction she's going?
Yeah, how would they know even what floor she's going to?
She's also in the same floor as the CEO.
Yeah, she's on the same. She's on the elevator with the
Same
CEO,
elevator,
yeah.
sorry.
Gwen Stacy.
Oh my.
Jesus, who's next in this Oscorp elevator casting call? Aunt May?
What?
I don't know.
The
what that
owner
means.
of the building is in the elevator. She's in the building of you.
There's one other person in the elevator. That means that literally everyone is in the elevator. Yes, that makes sense. I agree, Jeremy.
I mean, it's Peter. Everything's always complicated with Peter.
Yeah, like when we were 10, last time we were friends, he was always so f***ing complicated.
No, he means
His
the
only reference point to Peter is complication, to be fair, but like we were talking last night, he just talked about being complicated.
Yeah, he's talking about like the conversation he just had with Peter. You know, when Peter just left his fucking office like 3 minutes ago. Like that was very complicated. And then the previous day they had a very complicated conversation. They had a conversation. Peter explained how he was complicated with Gwen. Like, yeah.
Evil Dr. Guy says
he's also trying to relate to Gwen in the scene by trying
Yeah.
to be nice to her.
He's here to study this guy. But how do you know so much about him right off the bat to build this part steel, part water, part electricity prison for him?
They
How
didn't
does
at
Evil
first.
Doctor know how to do Evil Doctor shit?
So I'm sorry, they didn't know it at first. They put him in the water, and then they built something that could contain his like electricity levels. And even then, it doesn't like contain him fully, which is why they have to submerge him again, because he sends a burst of electricity and hurts and breaks Dr. Kafka's glasses, right? So
I just wonder what
it didn't
like
work properly.
Jeremy's suggested alternative would be, because they have to retain him somehow. So is any kind of prison system built for Electro going to be criticized? I don't know what the point is.
I mean, they know he's a battery, so they're monitoring how much charge he has inside him, and they have a way of like stopping.
How do they know how to do that?
Yeah, they can't tell how much charge there's inside of a battery. Yes. Scientists don't know how batteries work. It's so silly. It's just like they're using the basics of science and electricity to build like machines to be able to like contain this building, this person made out of electricity.
Not just that, but Max points out how a lot of the technology that's used in this room is military grade. They obviously spent a lot of money trying to get him inside this container.
I mean, Ravencroft is Oscorp's, right? They have a lot of like really high grade technology that a lot of people don't.
Yeah, they have a lot of access to high grade technology. They would also have a lot of money to spend on tech if they don't have it on site.
Yeah. And the way to like contain him is you just put him underwater. While he's underwater, they have time to like build a machine that they think would work. Which, yeah, they do. It doesn't work fully because, they have to submerge him again, but yeah.
Seriously, we need to find a way to get Electro and Electra in the same movie, and something that's not called The Kingdom or Valentine's Day.
I'll tell you.
That's a joke, I think. I think that's supposed to be a joke.
Pretty sure. I've actually seen The
Attempting
Kingdom.
comedy.
It's a pretty good movie.
Hey, good. He referenced a good movie, though I'm sure he has made a shit video on it.
But it will hurt you.
This is the same thing I said to my college girlfriend when she asked if I had any experience.
He spends half the video just criticizing how he is with women, which is so funny.
Like, I'm shit with women, Sin.
Someone needs to tell Peter that this lamp that he has resting against the wall full of maps is probably a fire hazard.
He took the D train to work at 7 every morning, came home at 6 every night.
Wow, that casual information that is being passed off as part of a string of evidence that Richard Parker was a normal dude will end up being extremely important information to Peter very soon.
It's a sin that dialogue is woven in subtly and naturally in the film.
I too hate it when things that are established end up being paid off later.
Yeah, I hate Chekhov's gun. Jeremy.
How unbelievably convenient is it that Chekhov placed a gun on a wall that just so happened to be used later in the story?
Yeah. Suspicious. I'm so done with Jeremy. I don't.
Okay.
This man is a professional
Get covered
YouTuber.
very often on this podcast.
Yeah,
Or
I
any
just.
podcast for that matter.
It's the same as Cinema Wins when we covered him. Like, half of these are... Because, like, with Cinema Wins, it's just like, oh, this is cool. Oh, awesome. Oh, this character was nice to this other character. Oh, that's a win. And then this is just the same shit. Like, oh, I'm making a joke. That's a sin. I'm pointing out that dialogue was indeed in the film. That's a sin. It's just... I don't know, man. I don't understand how people compare Mahler to, like, CinemaSins. It's so insane to me.
Thanks for stopping by, Shell Shock. We hope you have a good day and enjoy your New Year's.
Yeah.
Seriously, why does Peter do this? Can't he just say he can't find Spider-Man? Does he really think Harry's going to be cool with whatever Spidey says about not giving him blood?
He says he will. He just needs to do more tests. He says he wants to do more tests. He wants to help Harry.
The person
it
who's
is kind of a
desperate enough
shame,
that he
'cause-
wants to bribe his best friend to get blood from a complete fucking stranger is going to be surprised when the person's upset that he doesn't get the answer he wants.
Yeah,
straight
if
away.
Peter comes back
How
and says, I
convenient.
couldn't find Spider-Man, he's gonna throw another tantrum. Like, either way, the same outcome happens, but if he comes as Spider-Man, maybe he can talk some sense into Harry, and he can show that Peter did try. It's not Peter's fault. You know.
His friend came through and he got the person he's looking for. Like,
Yeah.
the person he asked and who, like, he cares about most in this world at this point came through for him, but the person he's after doesn't want to give him the blood for no specific reason other than, I want to make sure it doesn't fucking kill you!
Yeah, I will give you the blood. Let's just test it before. And it's like, oh, Peter just wants Harry to die. That's exactly what happens in the scene. Yes, thank you, film. Not film, Jeremy, sorry.
You're a fraud!
This is some real
I love that
Frodo
line
and
so
Sam
much.
okay for each other energy.
I love that line so much. The "You're a fraud, Spider-Man." It's so goofy. It's great.
You're a fraud, Mad Vicket.
I think we can agree that Harry Osborn and everything about him is one of this movie's biggest issues.
Why?
And that's truly saying something, because this movie's got issues.
No.
It is a sin that we agree
It does
that
have
Harry is the
issues,
issue.
but this is not one of them.
He's just like, oh, I think we can all agree that this is an issue, and the film has issues. How's that a sin? You've not said anything. You've just said the film has issues.
Only thing I keep coming back to, Gwen.
I feel like they're still eating ice cream just before Electro goes to Times Square. That's how old and tired this scene feels.
What?
It was 33 minutes ago, by the way, and nothing has moved plot-wise.
Okay, pause.
What?
Pause.
Electro has been
So-
captured.
Yes, Electro's been captured. Harry has been revealed to be dying, and he gets the USB cable. Peter and Gwen have broken up, and her England shenanigans are moving along. And then by this point, Aunt May has also talked to him about the Richard Parker stuff. It's like, I'm not sure what about the plot hasn't moved, because every single subplot that the film has progressed since then, but whatever.
I think he thinks the scene's the exact same as the Times Square scene, which is just not true. Like, Peter now has a completely different thing to deal with, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna keep the promise to your dad, which was not the thing he said in the Times Square scene. He's like, no, I want to be with you. But then Gwen says, like, we can't. We're going to, I'm going to England. And he feels like he's losing everything, and even like himself at this point. Like, this is a completely different context for that. Like, Peter hadn't lost Harry by that point. He didn't know about his parents by that point in the Times Square scene. And meeting Gwen, it wasn't like he like he hadn't lost Gwen yet. Like he thought they were just reconnecting, and now he's actually losing Gwen. Like it's very different like context for it. It's just like he still wants to be with Gwen, which he's always wanted, even when he broke up with her. Like that motivation for his character is still present, but it's not the same thing.
I see this movie's story went to the Shawshank Redemption School of Plot Reveal via Angry Projectile.
Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest movies I've ever made. Oh
Yeah.
no, the horror.
The horror of doing something similar to
Imagine
that.
making a positive comparison to one of the greatest
Yeah,
films
n-
ever made.
he-
and
no,
then sending it.
Yeah, whatever.
Every morning at 7 to work.
See, told you, but also, she had the words in a different order when she said that. She said to work every morning at 7, but Memory Her is saying every morning at
No, wow, Sid. I mean, sure. Firstly, sure, if you want to count that as like a continuity error, go ahead. But memories are very easy to misremember. I probably like misremember like the things that people told me a lot, like the order they said it and everything. And this is Peter's memory, right? Because it's the echoey voice and everything.
And
I
I'm
mean,
actually gonna like, this should be a win for the movie because most movies will just like copy the previous dialogue, but this is way more accurate to how memory actually is, which
Yeah.
shows they put some effort into it.
I mean, I didn't even know if it was effort. It's just like maybe they got it like this by accident, or maybe they did it on purpose. Either way, it is not like an issue, nor does it matter.
I would just treat it as a continuity error, but it's not a problem because it doesn't really change anything.
7 to work. If I can remember it correctly, you'd think Peter'd be able to as well. He's
No, you checked, you moron. He's a super
genius.
He's a super
so his
genius, so his
memory
memory needs to be bad. Peter is the most ADHD person I've ever seen in my life. I was talking to Zach about that. His memories would not be great. His memory would not be great. I don't know why you think him being a genius has anything to do with that.
the super genius, right? Man, this short-lived franchise sure loved putting Spider-Man in the subways, didn't it? Both the amazing movies have extensive subway exploration sequences.
Wait,
You mean the
pause.
most popular
What-
means of transportation in New York City?
Yeah.
What is the extensive subway exploration scene in TASM 1?
I think he means the
He
sewer.
rides the subway and he beats up people.
Yeah, I think he means the sewer. I don't think he means that, because if he means extensive, I think he means the sewer, where because we see Connors and then Peter going to Connors's like lair.
I hate to break it to Jeremy, but the sewer is not the subway.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeremy. I
That's
don't know.
why I
if
went
we're
with like
taking-
actual subway scene. I'm
Yeah,
like,
the actual subway scene is him fighting the people in the subway, but that's like a minute long. Because he said extensive, I'm pretty sure he means the sewer. And it's like, he's gonna send this, but it's like, okay, there are scenes in subways. That's the thing that
Okay,
happened.
well, this is the position we're in now. Do we do the good faith thing and assume that he means the actual subway fight scene, which is still stupid because it's not that extensive. It's like a
Well, it's not
2-minute
it's not
scene.
extensive, nor is it an exploration scene. So
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, because in the sewers, it is, you could count it as extensive because there are like quite a few scenes, and he goes to the sewers to like explore Lizard's lair, right? Like twice. That's why I think he means that. But it's like, I don't know if you can be best faith, Shandy, because if you say it is just the subway scenes, that scene isn't extensive nor exploration. If you say the sewer, it is extensive and exploration, but not subway. So he's
It's
just
not the
wrong.
subway, yeah.
So he's either way, he's wrong. Like, I don't think you
Yeah,
can
that's
be
why I
best
said
faith.
there's no real way winning with this guy because he's wrong on both accounts.
Very
Good
Jeremy
faith
should
or not.
always be wrong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's also like, oh my God, there are subway scenes in the Spider-Man film set in New York. That's so bad. Like, he's gonna sin into the Spider-Verse for having like the subway scene where they go to like graffiti the place, and then the chase with Prowler, I guess. I don't know, man.
This is cool and all, but how did a scientist guy manage to put all this together on his own? This is some
By paying people to do it.
no, he's about to send him paying people to do it. It
It's got
doesn't
6
matter.
years, several programmers, a blacksmith, and 36 different contractors to build, you dicks.
Even if it did. Okay.
I love the assumption is that like no one has ever built anything with contractors that's remained secret.
Yeah, I like the entire point of this D train line is that it was secret because FDR was hiding his polio from the public, right? So this was
how did
secret.
FDR do it?
Yeah, how did FDR hide his polio?
It's not a very good secret if you found it out on Google.
True, Shandy. That's very true.
About me, I would like the world to know the truth.
That's why I kept it so hidden that nobody would ever find it unless my son threw it.
No, what? You fucking stupid. He needs to be able to upload that video to Roosevelt, which he knows it will be kept safe.
And remember, it was 1999 when he does that.
Yeah, do you think he's just gonna upload it to YouTube? Just post it on Twitter.
Like, imagine the film has him, like, randomly put it in a bunch of AOL chat rooms, and it has people discovering it and being like, what the...
What the fuck is that?
Calculator against the wall and found subway tokens, and had just heard from his aunt that I used to take the D train, and that led him to Google something about.
Yeah, that's not what he planned to do. He didn't plan to die, my guy. He planned to do more with the video, but he was planning to run away and then do more things with the video because he was planning not to die
before he knew his house was broken into.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's also a good point. We mentioned that yesterday, but he recorded the video before the guy broke into his house, which made him like run away instantly. I'm pretty sure he wasn't like his plan wasn't to get on his private jet like the same day. I think he wanted to do that later, but once he saw that they broke into his house, it was like, shit, I can't stay here. Like, I gotta go. Because his plan was just a lot of shit that he did on the fly, just trying to protect his son mostly.
Roosevelt and Subway and D-Train and solve this whole mystery.
Norman Osborn has falsified evidence against me in order to take control of my work.
So wait, Norman Osborn knew that Richard was going to betray him. So
no, he knew.
No.
Oh my god, are you fucking stupid? Richard.
Jeremy's never heard of blackmail.
No, Jeremy has never seen either film. The point is that Richard was like, no, you're not gonna fucking, get government contractors. We're not gonna sell my research to, like, military so they can use this for evil. And so Norman was like, okay, so we're gonna appropriate it. The same way that Ratha does to Connors in the first film when he gets the lizard serum and he's like, we're gonna test it on veterans. And Connors is like, no, you're not. And it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, this is ours now.
Can be taken away too.
Yeah, and so it's that exact same thing. He was like, I'm gonna falsify evidence so that we can appropriate your research, and that means we can still use your research and not need you, because by this point we don't need you anymore. Yeah, if you have your research and we have Connors, that's all we need to be able to, like, if we appropriate the research so that we own it, so that we can actually sell it, which is the main purpose of what they want to do.
So he falsified evidence against him, which means we are way down the line in the process of a friendship tearing apart and a business partnership being dissolved.
Yeah, you just misunderstood the scene. I'm just gonna let you talk.
And yet Richard still had access to the Oscorp lab to take back all his research without anyone knowing until it was too late. Peter watches one video of his father on the secret subway car lab computer, and I think that's it. Huh.
There's nothing else for him there.
Yeah? Why do you want him to do it? So is the criticism that the entire scene, the only purpose of it was that, like, to finish off the main character's arc, which is like, oh, okay. I mean,
Jeremy hates character. He just wants the plot to move along.
Yes.
This is way more Ghostbusters than I think they intended.
Okay.
I think that maybe it's time to let this go.
This isn't an overdub or AR work. This is a voicemail Emma Stone left for the studio after she read the script.
It's hilarious, right? Even though she loved the film and she actually wrote her own speech. And she's very attached to Gwen as a character. But yeah, that's funny.
Like I said, the Peter moment proves that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah, the Peter moment. Yeah, that it was Emma Stone. Just being so in character. It's great.
Under contract. Meanwhile, you don't even want to know about the voicemails left for the studio by Shailene Woodley.
I do like that joke. That's a very funny joke.
I don't know who Shailene Woodley is.
She's who played MJ.
Oh, okay.
With the lightning bolt on the sleeve.
Oh,
that we actually
we know. Yeah, it was in Ravencroft. There was a guy wearing that suit. I imagine Electro killed him and stole the suit. So yeah.
Or is he manipulating electricity?
He didn't want to walk around Dr. Manhattan style with his cock hanging out.
Yeah. On his boxers, actually, because the film couldn't show his cock. Unfortunately.
It looks like he's wearing a suit. The suit is nuts. He looked fine already, and the suit isn't real because he just dissolves here in a minute. So.
No, it's part of him. Like, he can make everything that he's wearing also dissolve. It is real. Like, the same way he is real. Are you saying Electro isn't real? It's just, he's made out of particles. Everything is made out of particles of energy. He can manipulate energy. That's why he manipulates his suit. Everything is made out of energy.
Technically speaking,
I'm made out of atoms. Where do I end and the Earth begins? How do I know I'm real?
Very
Technically
existential.
speaking, Electro isn't real, so he's not wrong.
Technically, true. Tim tweeted, "We're 2 years into this job, and now we're explaining the mechanics of sandwiches. It's fucking amazing. Well done, Tim."
Off, suit.
Let's take a walk, shall we?
Why? Why do you even need this guy? Can't electric
To break into fucking special projects.
Okay, but his criticism is that like Electro could just figure out where it is, but like as much as
he needs
Electro
access, and he
he
doesn't know exactly where it is. The deal was, you help me get to this guy, you get the grid. That was the deal.
It is the assumption here that Electro, because he can like go into walls and stuff, that his brain is connected to like all data that exists everywhere and would thus have access to everything.
Oh
ever?
yeah. You say it turned into ether and enter walls to find out where the secret lab is. That the electricity.
That was never established.
Iteration of his character.
I mean, I guess he could potentially find the secret projects place at some point.
After a while,
yeah, it would take time, which is the exact thing they don't want to take. They want to do it immediately.
electricity man? Just
Well, if
trying
you
to
say
keep
that he
people-
travels at like the speed of light when he's like inside the fucking wire cables, or
It's definitely not the
wire
speed of
cables,
light
but-
because like electricity doesn't travel at the speed of light.
How fast is electricity?
Let me check. How fast does electricity
I would
travel?
look it up myself, but I'm currently busy.
First we have the speed at which the electricity moves through the conductor. In this case, that electricity moves almost at the speed of light itself. To put into numbers, it travels at 670 million miles per hour. Almost 671 million miles per hour. It's just,
That's still pretty
yeah,
fucking
it's
fast.
almost speed of light. Yeah. At any rate, there are like a billion cables you would need to run to like conductors should be able to find like the actual like one room, right?
Well, even if it's like almost the speed of light, if there's a massive like wire around the planet, like in a massive circle, he could travel the entire planet 7 times in the blink of an eye. So it doesn't really matter how many cables there are. He could do it a lot faster than you're giving it credit for.
I don't have like a way to perceive
it doesn't matter because it's not the point. Because
yeah,
it doesn't matter because it's not the point.
Yeah, no, I would just try to do like another argument, but yeah, if that is how like speed of light is, it's just that I don't have like a point of reference for it.
What's being argued?
Oh, about electro speed and whether he could.
Sky was trying to argue that it would take him time to like find
special projects from.
Special projects, and that it wouldn't really be worth it. I'm trying to argue it doesn't matter because that wasn't part of the deal.
Well, and
yeah, we already said that. It's just another argument.
Even if you were to find special projects, I don't think that would help Harry at all because it's not like Harry can teleport through the walls either.
Yeah, I don't think he would be able to teleport Harry because like a suit is like it doesn't have a brain. I'm pretty sure a human brain being turned into electricity and back wouldn't be ideal.
And enter the walls and find out where the secret lab is that the electricity runs to? Can't he image or blueprint this building in a heartbeat by going electric? Most of this movie he's too fucking powerful, but here he's utterly useless.
He did everything.
Part of the deal.
Yeah, he did everything that Harry wanted him to. He's not useless. He was the most useful character to Harry in the entire film.
Besides Harry himself.
Yeah, no. Of course, this string of movies couldn't launch the Sinister Six because they made all the same mistakes from Spider-Man 3 that led them to rebooting these movies in the first place. A movie that is overblown.
They didn't actually end up rebooting this movie because of Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 4 was well into production, and they had actually been working on it for a few months. The reason why they stopped doing that is due to a multitude of reasons, one of them being Tobey Maguire was an absolute pain to work with on set.
I don't really know about it.
They had quite a few
was kind
issues.
of a nightmare. It was like Sam Raimi had pretty much all but given up.
Yeah, pretty much. Sam was already giving up on Spider-Man 3 because his initial plan for the third movie was to have Vulture and Sandman be the villains instead of Sandman and Venom. And then Vulture got pushed into Spider-Man 4 alongside of Carnage. Yeah, Avi Arad basically like took over production of that movie essentially, and they lost the director due to massive disagreements in creative decision making. Then you have the issue with Tobey Maguire basically being a drunk or high on cocaine most of the time, so he was difficult to work with. So the entire production of the movie was just a massive mess, and it got cancelled after like 2 years. This movie got made 3 years after that, I'm pretty sure, because it's 2012, so 2007.
Well, this
2000,
is this 2014, but the first one was 2012. Yeah.
yeah, I'm talking about the Amazing Spider-Man one. So that movie got made as a reboot to basically keep up the Spider-Man franchise because it's like it was Sony's second or third most profitable IP at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I remember what was the most.
to retain the rights.
Yeah, and
It's kind of like why they did the Fantastic in 2015. It was just to retain the rights to Fox for the Fantastic Four characters. Being that profitable, it's important to keep the rights because otherwise they revert to Marvel. Also, this movie's overbloated and has too many villains, as in it has 2 villains.
It has a 38-minute stretch where neither of the villains do anything.
Yeah.
Villains. This movie is even 2 minutes longer than Spider-Man 3.
Oh my god, 2 minutes? 2 whole minutes? No way.
It would be 4 minutes longer if this was the editor's choice that he's talking about, because the editor's choice for Spider-Man 3 is 2 minutes shorter than the theatrical cut.
Oh yeah, I heard that one's better, but I've never watched it.
It is better because it removes one of the worst scenes in the movie, which is the your father glider killed himself scene with the butler.
Oh yeah.
It just doesn't exist.
That's good. That's already a huge improvement.
Yeah, it already makes the movie like from a 6 to a 7. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
I agree. Yeah.
Harry trusts this corporate asshole to stick him with this spider venom needle when I'm.
Yeah, he trusts the person he's holding at gunpoint to do the thing he's telling him to, because otherwise he's gonna pull the trigger.
The person who just died. Who's probably deeply in shock.
He trusts the person he's threatening, whose life he's threatening to do the thing that he's telling him to do, otherwise he dies. Yes.
Pretty sure I barely trust qualified people to do this correctly.
That's
same, because the last time I had a needle injected into my arm, a fucking fountain of blood got shot out, and I was very upset.
One time I was taking blood, yeah. The woman did something really wrong and it wasn't coming out properly, and she took like 5 minutes, and I was just like, I hate needles. It was I did not like that.
This strobe's on for some time. He seems.
It's okay. It's a sin that the alarm being on means that lights flash, and the light keeps flashing.
Really up. Oh, never mind. He'll be fine. I guess I didn't realize there was an entire protocol dedicated to healing him.
No, it's an entire protocol dedicated to healing people in combat situations, which is the point of the suit, which Harry knew because he read about that suit earlier when he.
Which is why he climbed towards the suit. It would not have made any sense for him to climb towards the suit unless we had that like 4-second shot of him opening the file earlier.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you can also just imply that he was reading through the files himself anyways in his own private time while he was like waiting for Spider-Man or something.
Yeah, but the thing is, we see it, so it doesn't actually be like implied. It's just, it's silly.
Yeah. You can just add it further on that he did even more homework on the suit itself before he actually climbed in.
Yeah, that's true.
The suit was set up, so we know it exists. But we also can assume that Harry did his own work on it to make sure that it wasn't like a faulty prototype or something.
I think it's funny here that he's criticizing it for like having a training wheels protocol, which I am pretty sure it probably does.
I'm pretty sure it connects to his brain to be able to like guide him. It's how he flies it, right? That's how he's able to fly it.
AI powered.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like a thing that sticks into his brain.
The file.
Oh, is that the reason?
The file earlier where he opens it, some of the words on the screen I think say that like it's AI powered glider with human like neural activation or whatever.
That makes a lot more sense. I thought he was just piloting the fucking thing, and I was like, "Damn, you're fucking good at this."
Oh no, it is AI thing. It's not like he doesn't know exactly how to fly it, because if you say it's like the things he's doing are very like instinctual. It's not the same as like trying to think of something that is just like fully piloting. I don't know. You got the idea.
Training wheels, Ghost. So when Peter got his message from Gwen, he thought maybe she hasn't gotten to the airport yet. New York traffic, what can you do? And made sure to spell this out on the bridge just in case she was stuck in the.
So You go to
This guy's clearly never been to New York.
You go to a large landmark on the way to the airport to make sure to, which would be like the best shot at Gwen seeing it, right? Because he doesn't know exactly where she is. So yeah, it's his best shot. He doesn't know exactly where she is. But even if he does think it's like, oh, traffic is a bitch on New York. Yes, that is a thing that happens in New York. Well done.
And even if this wasn't the case right now, as we were talking about yesterday, he's not wasting time because as far as he knows, his biggest threats are contained. He
Yeah.
doesn't even know Harry's an antagonist yet.
Yeah, and Electra was in prison. So
right.
Well, as far as he knows.
Traffic?
I know there's a
No,
million
but
reasons
guys,
why-
why isn't Peter trying to like imprison Oscorp for what they did to his dad?
Yes, because Peter's gonna take down a whole corporation. It's that easy.
No, but you don't understand that that's a horrible thing for him to do because he's got inconsistent morals.
Be together.
Yeah, well, also, if you want to think about it purely logistically, Oscorp has an entire fucking army of lawyers, and Peter's a poor guy. So even if he
No
were to
law
try to
skills.
take down Oscorp,
You know the scene that's
done.
introducing Harry to like the Oscorp group? He
Mhm.
said that entire room besides Felicia was a group of lawyers.
Yeah.
And they were all trying to get
You're
Oscorp from
all
underneath
lawyers,
Harry, and
right?
it's like,
Well,
bro.
you know what he's gonna do, right?
Mm.
Better call Saul.
Of course.
Oh, skip!
Did you try magnetizing them?
I love how this movie basically shoves Gwen Stacy to the side, except
What? Did you watch the film? Like Gwen,
Yes, the main love interest.
the entire point of the character is that she has her own agency, that she doesn't need to do whatever Peter wants her to do, or not like be, protected by Peter. That it's her choice to put herself in danger to like help Peter. Like her
Yeah, this
own
is in
agency is made a point of like a lot of the time. She's a character on her own, of her own. I'm so confused. Like she fucking looks up Max Dillon and that's what gets her in trouble. That's like the funny thing about the closet moment, is that she's looking into something that's like shady that Oscorp did.
Yeah, this isn't Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man Homecoming. The love interest actually does something.
Yeah.
and she's being criticized for doing something here.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, she's shoved to the side until she
woman.
does something, and that's bad because she does something, but earlier she didn't. It's okay, what do you want, Jeremy? I want to understand you, please.
except for Peter's relationship
I
status. and
don't.
then bam! At the third act break, she's like, "Try something anyone halfway smart in science could."
No, I was talking. It's so stupid. He tried everything. He forgot one thing. It happens. As I said with Zach as well. He's definitely got ADHD, Peter. Forgetting one thing is very fine. But also, I was talking as well to Zach, and I mentioned how when we were watching Mr. Robot, me, Tinzod, and Jeb, in season 1, there's a scene where Elliot's trying to hack someone, and he can't figure out their password, and he's like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I should be able to figure out their password. And then he's like, oh shit, that's because the name they gave me is like a fake name. And then he, does a clean a full clean of his computer again, because he's worried he's gonna be hacked and whatnot for looking into that person. And Jeb said, yeah, I predicted, like I figured it out that person had a fake name way before Elliot did. And I was like, oh, do you think that's an issue? And Jeb was like, no. It's kind of like tunnel vision, right? Like where someone is so smart that they see something that is very simple, but they overcomplicate it because they think it's like, they think they are right and they can't like think like outside the box by that point. And it's the same for Peter. He tried a lot of things and he was looking in the battery point of view, like, oh, how do I, make it so that it doesn't overcharge my web shooters, when instead the point he should have made, the thing he should have thought about is like other things such as magnetizing, which is what Gwen thinks of. Like he thought of a bunch of things. It's not like he just stood there like with his thumb up his ass just waiting, right? Like he tried a bunch of things and just forgot one, which is very common to happen.
I just like the idea that he had
it's very common for very highly intellectual people like Peter here to be like so involved with the higher level of things that you completely forget the ultra simple things.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of Peter like wanting to carry a massive battery with him everywhere he goes, just so he could charge his webs. That would have been funny to see. Like he
That
just
would've been
tries it out and
hilarious,
just
yeah.
swings like a pocket battery just on him the entire time.
Like huge fucking battery.
Like,
Carries it like a backpack. That would be hilarious.
Well, like in it's like how in Star Wars, how the first version of the lightsaber was just powered by a battery that had on their backs.
Oh yeah.
Full unplugged in and everything.
Ew, Star
Just
Wars,
how his web
yucky,
shooters,
get
and
away
he has
from
to, like,
me.
And he has to like not push his arms too forward because they'll unplug.
Could have figured out long before this to make her seem worthwhile to the story. This movie even tries to work in some brand new Nurse Aunt May action, because the only idea this movie had it didn't use was Mary Jane Watson.
I mean, that's untrue. They cut out a lot of stuff.
He's
but
trying to make up
once
for the lack of a second income, so she's
Yeah,
working
it was
a second
established.
job.
It was established that she's working a second job. Lights go out. Two places most affected: planes, hospitals. Oh, and May works in a hospital. Why not follow her? Why not have her be the POV character in hospitals, right? Because we already know she works at a hospital. Like, what is the issue? It's just simple logic. If you're a writer, that's what you do.
I will control everything.
And I will be like a god to them.
This is the closest Electro gets to explaining his motivations.
What? He explains his motivations like 1 billion times.
Yeah, he
My
monologues
motivation
about it
is
when
that
he-
I
when he
want
breaks the guy's
motivation.
glasses.
I'm okay, Jeremy. You did not watch the film. He wants you.
Everyone will know what it's like to be in a world without power.
Yeah, you would be like, you know what it's like to be me in a world without power, in a world without mercy, in a world without Spider-Man, right? And it's
He's like, I've been invisible my whole life. I'm gonna show everyone what it's like to be invisible.
yeah, and he wants to show that he's superior to everyone else, despite how they treated him. Which is why he wants to humiliate Spider-Man more so than just like straight away killing him. In the scene, he really wants to humiliate him, which is the point of the itsy bitsy spider scene.
And it's still murky as this fight full of nonsense and obfuscation.
Nonsense. What is the nonsense?
Where no one seems to have any advantage goes on for all the some time.
Yeah, no one has an advantage. I mean, Electro does, right? Like at some point he's gonna wear Peter down, which is why Gwen showing up was so instrumental. Almost like she has something to do with the film, but whatever. I don't know, man. What's the issue? It's like, oh, these two characters have like similar like power levels, but one of them is gonna wear out while the other one isn't.
Well, yeah, we talked about this last night, where it's like it only appears as if there's no advantage if you just take the combat at face value and don't think about like the longer lasting implications, because by the end of the scene his suit is like melting off and he's super tired.
Yeah.
Like I made the comment that if Gwen wasn't there, Spider-Man probably would have died in this scene.
Yeah. I don't. And it's not full of nonsense. What the fuck does he mean by obfuscation? Obfuscation. Render obscure, unclear, or unintelligible. Oh, if you can't tell what's happening, you have like brain damage. I'm sorry, but what? It's like the clearest like superhero fight scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, I was watching it last night and I was super impressed with how fucking well shot the scene was. I was like, yeah, man.
You can tell everything that's going on, and it has like some of the most like beautiful and cinematic lighting ever. It's really great.
Wouldn't it be crazy if he calls this scene like messy and a sludge and gross?
As Electro literally plays the Itsy Bitsy Spider song while beating Spider-Man's ass, I'm left to wonder, is this real f***ing life? Who are the ad wizards that came up with this f***ing idea?
Ad
wizards? The ad wizards? Who benefits from... Who's the guy who owns the Itsy Bitsy Spider rights and is like, you better put that in the movie?
Yeah. I'm... whatever.
Me.
Yeah, I'm confused by what he means by that. But yeah, he plays a song that is supposed to belittle Spider-Man, plus Max is corny as hell. And he's still corny. I hate when movies have like consistent characters, I guess.
You movie. I hate.
Oh, okay. It's the sin that Richard Parker shows up again the moment when Gwen puts herself in danger and Peter is breaking his promise. It's not like she dies later.
Richard Parker?
Not Oh, did I say Richard Parker? I meant Captain Stacy. Oopsie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oopsie. But you get the point. It makes perfect sense for Richard Parker to be there.
Everything about this finale. It's a bunch of audio and video noise.
Man, you have some brain damage, Jeremy. I'm sorry, but this is like the clearest you can have like as a fight scene, and it flows so well. Like it's not. I don't understand how it's noise. Somehow a migraine wrapped inside a sleeping pill. Okay.
It's somehow a migraine wrapped
salad.
inside a sleeping
Yeah.
pill. No one will be seated during the will the two planes avoid collision portion of the film because they'll all be standing up to leave.
What? Oh, okay. The people don't like this. Okay, people watching this film in the theater wouldn't have liked it, so they would have been standing up to leave. That's a very complicated joke. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
There is no f***ing way she heard that.
What? Okay. I mean, there is. He yells loudly, but even if she didn't, I think she gets the message that it's now the time to do it because you know the lightning
he's staring directly at her and,
and
starting to
yeah,
show
and the
her.
lightning is hitting the exact point that in the middle of the webs. It's like if there's anyone to do it, it's now.
Her scientific intelligence is probably nearly at his level, so just visually she could probably tell.
Yeah.
Well, isn't she like the top student from
Yeah,
Midtown?
she is. Yeah.
Yes, Peter was number 2. They make a joke about it.
Yeah, in both films.
There is no f***ing way she heard that. Spider-Man is surrounded by a cacophony of electric noise, and Gwen is far away behind glass.
Staring right at him. Yeah, she can use visual cues.
Woo! Honestly, all movie long, we've all been mostly thinking about the local air traffic controllers, am I right?
No, I've been thinking about the normal people in this universe that are put in danger and how Peter is gonna save them. It's kind of like the stakes, right? Of like
You know how
saving
like
regular
nowadays
people.
people complain about superhero movies not showing the wider implications of their actions, and then the one movie that dares to do it gets criticized for it.
Yeah.
Oh goody, the Green Goblin.
Look, I'm just not a fan of my movies emotionally manipulating me for 9/11.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just reminding of 9/11 is a cheap shot.
Strategy totally makes sense now, because there clearly wasn't enough Green Goblin in the Raimi trilogy.
Okay, this is a new series of films. And Green Goblin, it has an emotional connection to Peter in every iteration, which is why it's such an interesting character to do. It's why every Batman iteration is gonna have a Joker. What's the issue?
Also not the Green Goblin, it's the Garbo Goblin.
Garbo Goblin, yeah. Okay, yeah, I mean that was Green Goblin in one Spider-Man film. I guess
Even then, like the last Goblin character was in Spider-Man 3, which was 7 years before this. Like, are you like?
Yeah.
It's not like there's an overabundance of it. There's been enough time. Like it's
Yeah, if it
fine.
was like just doing the same thing, it would be like Venom again, right? I think that would be way more like redoing it because this film had like a lizard and then the first film had lizard and this film has Electro as well as Goblin. Where it's like it's very different from what the Raimi trilogy had.
It also has the Rhino.
Yes, the Rhino, who wasn't in the Raimi films.
I can't think of a more apt metaphor for this movie than Spidey continuously missing the mark while something flies around in circles above his head.
He's way
I don't
too
even
high
know what
up.
that means.
Oh, yeah, he's way too high up. He can't hit him.
As Gwen slow motion falls to her death amid falling gears and other clock-related things, I'm being utterly forced by the movie to remember her graduation speech about time and how we should make the most of it because it ends for everyone. And
You
having
mean
a
the
hammer smack
central
me in
theme
head
of this
kinda hurt.
movie?
Yeah.
The movie is bad because it uses imagery to juxtapose against themes that were clearly established. I hate it when consistency happens.
I hate it when the
It's
character
almost
arc
like
is
Peter
summarized
ran out
in-
of time when the clock broke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Jeremy criticizes movies for being movies. It's really strange. I don't get it.
Whoa, Spidey, you need to take it easy, eh?
Oh, it's a reference to the movie Easy A that stars Emma Stone. You know, it's funny because Emma Stone was in that film. Did you know that? And she's also in this film. I don't know if you knew she's in this film, but she is. So, yeah.
Easy A.
That's right, Chan.
Nearly 90 seconds of funeraling.
It's a sin that the main character of the film spends a lot of time grieving his the love of his life. Yeah, that's bad. I hate it when characters have emotions. Jeremy, you need something to stand on. You're just saying things. I don't know anything.
Are you calling him short, Mr. 5'5"?
5'4".
Okay, let's just make yourself even shorter. I was giving you an out.
I apologize, but I'm happy being short.
It's gone. This city will never be the same.
Public transportation must not be a problem for you.
These dumbasses assume
Bitch for
Spider-Man
me.
is...
No, they don't assume
No,
it's completely
they
done.
don't.
The entire point is the
He's
opposite.
been gone for like 6 months at this point. Like we see the seasons pass by, like, and we can assume he's been.
Oh no,
gone
yeah,
for
but
a
even then, I don't think they think Spider-Man is completely gone. Because the point is that the
They're not
city
even
isn't going to be.
talking about Spider-Man.
Yeah,
they're
they're talking about the city.
implications.
Yeah, the city being
So-
in chaos. They want you to rain chaos to like hurt Spider-Man, right? Like, isn't that the point?
Another thing is Harry knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man, so if he has Peter Parker being tailed and he knows that Peter Parker is still a thing, then he knows Spider-Man still is a thing because Peter hasn't left the city.
Mhm.
So he knows that he can still create chaos that would draw Peter out.
Right.
Completely done, rather than simply taking a break to launch this Sinister Six plan. This is a cliche. It's new, but it counts. It's the someone.
It's a cliche, but it's new. I don't think that. I'm sorry. Did I just have a stroke?
It's a very uncommon thing, but it's cliche.
I think I just had a stroke. This is a cliche. It's new. Someone goes to
Wait,
visit the recently imprisoned
have I
supervillain
ever
right at the end of a
seen-
superhero movie cliche.
I don't think I've ever seen that in a superhero movie outside of the previous TASM film.
Yeah.
What is the? Someone goes to visit the recently imprisoned supervillain right at the end of the superhero movie. I don't know about recently imprisoned, but I do know
It
about
happened in the
visiting a
Batman.
villain.
Well,
That's
but
not
it's-
really a visit.
Yeah, because
they're
if you,
both in prison?
I was gonna say Homecoming, but that's not a visit either because Scorpion is already in the prison and
I was
Vulture's
going to say
already in the prison.
Justice League, but no one's imprisoned in that scene when Deathstroke visits Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, doesn't Lex Luthor just break out and then they talk to him in the boat? So
Yeah.
I think that's how it goes. I don't remember Snyder films all that much. I'm afraid.
That's how it goes.
Oh, good to know.
That's not a Snyder film. That's a Whedon film.
Okay,
Well,
but
it's in
even if
both
it was-
films. Either way.
This was before that. This is before those even came out.
Oh no, yeah, but I think it's like he's saying it's new. I don't even know. Is he like retroactively saying it's a cliche that became a cliche after this film, but I'm retroactively adding a sin because this happened before it became a cliche? Is that it? I'm confused.
Imagine going to the very first movie that has a jump scare and being like, it's so cliche.
Yeah. It's the meme on Twitter of someone being like, person who has only seen Boss Baby and
Boss
watching their
Baby.
second film, getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes from this. Yeah.
Goes to visit the recently imprisoned supervillain right at the end of a superhero movie cliche.
Please tell me another example. I don't know. I genuinely don't. Morbius, isn't the post-credit scene that?
No, the post-credit scene of Morbius is the multiverse Vulture.
Yeah, it's
visit.
Vulture. Isn't he visiting like Morbius in prison?
No, they meet at like a pier.
Oh, okay. I'd never watched the film. I thought it was prison. I don't know why.
The whole thing is that he gets sucked into a parallel universe prison, and then they let him out because they have no idea who the fuck he is, and then he manages to get another suit and meets with Morbius saying, "I want to make a team" or something. to Spider-Man.
Right.
It's a weird scene.
So other than TASM 1, it's genuinely just TASM 2 that does it.
And even then, it might just be like a handful of examples, like a handful at most.
Sure, Jeremy.
Alexis, it's savage.
We picked him because it's somebody the audience will be familiar with after the first scene of the movie, when he proved to be terrible at his job. So he was a perfect candidate.
He literally did not-
Unironically, the point is that they want to cause like a rough. They don't think Alexei Savage is good at his job. They just think he's good at calling attention to himself. That's all they want. They want to cause chaos, and Alexei Savage is perfect at that, which he did cause a lot of chaos when he stole the fucking plutonium.
Well, yeah, but he also just causes a lot of damage, right? Which is more what they want than chaos, I think.
Well, damage and chaos is kind of the same thing in this. What I'm saying,
Sure, but I'm saying like there's a reason they give him the Rhino suit, not the Vulture one.
Oh yeah, no, they give the one that is gonna cause the most like destruction, yeah. Because they want to call Spider-Man to action again.
And lower the city's morale.
Yeah. I just
don't know what the point of that fucking suit is.
What suit? The
What
rhino
was that
suit?
made? What was that made for?
The rhino
Besides
suit?
just being a rhino. Yeah, I don't get it.
I mean,
It's
these suits are
experimental military
yeah, these are military tech. I imagine it was made is like, you know, like the suits they have in Avatar, the big suits when they go to
Mech
war.
suits.
Yeah, in Pandora. I think it's kind of
To be
that, but it's
fair,
also can like become like a rhino that can charge at people and everything. But it
what
has
we
like,
see from this film, it proves very effective.
yeah, it's very effective at what
Like,
it does. Yeah.
It does take a little bit of comic book logic to see, like, oh, they designed this rhino suit for the military.
Oh yeah. Well, considering Oscorp focuses a lot on like cross species things, I think it makes sense to like have like movements and everything based on like certain animals to like.
No, but that's
and
why I prefer the way it's done in the Amazing Spider-Man game, where the rhino is literally just another cross-species experiment, where it's like
I think
a
I like it
humanoid
here.
rhino.
Well, that it's established in the Richard Parker video that like he didn't like having to do stuff for military contracts. So, I mean, it feels way more within the rules and technology of the universe for them to combine the cross species genetics and their technological avenues by basically building like what we see the rhino suits instead of like some human animal hybrid, which has been proven to be a very chaotic route.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that the rhino in the game was a successful one. I mean, they imprisoned it because it was unsuccessful, and it ended up poisoning a whole bunch of people and killing them. What I'm saying is that from a like design perspective, I prefer the cross species one because it just aesthetically is more pleasing, and I think you can find a lot more uh applicable applications for technology like this that isn't just turning the guy into a big rhino. It's
I
very
think
silly,
for
and
what the
it's
established
one of those.
purpose of it seems to be
Sorry.
fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it.
Uh, it just doesn't really seem that practical, but that's about as much as yeah.
I mean,
What's
it's a
not
huge
practical about
mech suit that can charge at people and has like a bunch of miniguns attached to it. I don't know what's impractical about it.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how durable that thing is, but
I
wouldn't
mean,
that be
it
like a
seems
massive
quite
really
durable.
very durable.
I mean, it seems quite durable. Like it can charge like through like, you know, walls and shit, and it's shot at, and it doesn't like even get a scratch. I think it's quite durable.
No, but that's supposed to be used for like military purposes, and I mean that's not
Yeah.
going up against just handguns and cars. It's going up against like tanks and
Yeah, but that's
RPGs.
the most we see. We can assume that it can probably
It's one of
take
those
more.
things where I could be like, yeah, it probably takes a lot more than I'm giving it credit for because I
Yeah.
haven't seen it used in that application. It just it's
It's
odd.
also incredibly mobile, which is really impressive. Like, if we want to assume that the Rhino suit is at least as durable as the like mech suits from Avatar,
Mhm.
this is way more mobile and seems to be a lot more like capable of destruction than they do. So
Yeah.
if anything, this seems like way more practical of an application than other things.
Yeah, I mean, for run, just by being able to go on like the 4 paws and run, like charge at something, makes it way like faster than like the max suits in Avatar.
Where are you going?
Gwen is gone. You can't change that. You can't stay sad forever. You're 33 years. I mean, you're 19 years old. Where the is this camera?
Sure,
There's
I don't
nobody
know.
at the fucking graduation taking.
What? It's not a close up. Are you fucking kidding? It's a lot. It's a lens. You
Bro's
zoom
never
into
heard
the
of
lens.
of a 400 millimeter.
There would be people taping the speech. There are people in my high school who taped like shit like this. What?
And they're from like a very prestigious private high school.
It's talking about the film quality sound of it. We watched Jab's we watched Jab's graduation. He linked us the YouTube stream for it. The audio was crisp. I could hear everything. Like his college graduation. It's fun. She's talking exactly right into a microphone. Like they just record the audio from it. It's not that hard.
Video that got
This is just incentive to buy the new Sony Apple product of the time. It's really crisp audio. I said Sony and Apple. because
Yeah, I
it's
was
just
very
that good.
confused. Yeah.
got film quality sound out of it. And while I can't point to any one shot that proves this shot is good enough for me to send this bull.
What?
The shot where you see a bunch of people, not a single person could have been handling a fucking camera and just had a long lens aimed at Gwen's face.
We have to be greater than what we suffer.
We have to move on. We have to survive. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. Who took
That's a sin. So true.
that f***ing picture? Looks like maybe
Peter with his phone. He took a selfie. Like you can see his left arm seems like it's extended to take a selfie, right? Like I'm not
Also,
imagining it.
another thing
Clearly,
is this is
he's
their
never been in a
graduation day.
relationship.
Yeah. What were we gonna say?
The
Shen?
thing I wanted to point out was this is their graduation day, and while it's a great day for a lot of people, it's also a very sad day because I know for me especially when I had like my last 2 days of high school, I ended up crying on my way out just because there was like so much stuff that I was going to end up missing and like so much stuff that I was not really like grateful for until it was taken away from me. It's something Gwen is probably aware of, and she's like, "This is not a time to be sad. This is a time for you to like acknowledge the good things in your life."
Yeah,
and to
it's like
keep
celebrating and the people that we met and carrying them on with us. It's a really great message, even like both for the valedictorian speech, but also for Peter in this film because it perfectly fits his arc.
It's a applicable speech that you can have in multiple settings
Mhm.
because it's a general message on life itself,
Peter took this both of them sleeping
which he's
selfie,
trying
but
to
it's not a-
give the kids.
What?
that
It's
are
not
going
both of
out
them
to-
sleeping. She's laying on it, but she's not sleeping. He's kissing her head. Are you blind? She's not sleep. I want to kill myself.
pretentious, or they got Denny from the room.
Recorded.
To take it, and that's a sin. What am I missing? Rhino looks like a clumsier, slower, not flying version of Iron Man. Rhino is just a tank in walkable human form. This movie.
It's a sin that a tank is a tank.
What?
What is the sin?
All right.
Yes, this
Wait.
this
He says
tanky machine
This is the movie's
used
best scene.
What?
His best scene is a throwaway tail end stinger, teasing a future where Spider-Man accepts the possible consequences but still fights crime boldly and proudly. But I can't.
That's the whole movie.
And wasted so hard.
Okay, well we did it. That was a video. We're not doing the TASM 1-1, I'm afraid.
Indian golf.
What a waste of time.
In the blind guard. Disengage. Repeat. Disengage.
Jesus.
Hey, you kicked me off to boarding school when I was 11.
11.
Oh, okay. I'm just stopping here because the cringe is too much for me to handle. He's just putting like random audio clips onto the dialogue, which is short.
He does this.
Yeah. Well, that video was fucking garbage. Absolute trash fire of a video. Not a single good point, I think. I don't remember. But probably not a single good point.
Okay, here's the closest thing to an actual criticism he gave. It was Gwen not being able to hear Peter. That was
Yeah, I guess it's the most accurate, which even then doesn't really matter. So yeah. All right. Well, that was CinemaSins' 10th anniversary recent of TASM 2. That's fun. I love that. I definitely don't want to kill myself right now. Oof, Jesus Christ. What did you think of it, Shandy? Yeah.
I think this is a CinemaSins video, and this is par for the course on what you should expect from his channel.
I agree.
Garbage content that he puts out as quickly as possible with very little thought attached to it. Very, very esoteric jokes that you will only find funny if you're as depressing and as sad as he is, with a very disappointing sex life. Your penis
my
is probably
God.
like -3 inches in size.
Oh my god.
Your wife probably hates you, and you just want a place where you can vent that makes you money.
True.
And she won't complain about it either because you're making her money.
What really frustrates me, I think, about CinemaSins is people actually take it seriously. Like, if you read the comments, most of the people are agreeing with the points. There's some people calling out the goofs, but even if this is all for the meme, I think generally it's a net negative for cinema because like ultimately you want the art form to improve and criticism is good, but if you're going to criticize, like criticize well, do good faith analysis. It just reinforces a really toxic culture of film criticism, which is frustrating.
Well, you've got channels like this one, you've got YMS, you've got fucking Filmento, you've got all these big quote-unquote film essayists who just absolutely
Filmento's even
shut...
worse than this because
Oh,
he
no,
said that
Filmento
none
is-
of the things that happen in the film happen.
Filmento is the worst video essayist on YouTube. I'm sorry, but like as a person, I'm sure he's fine. But dear lord,
You've got all these film essayists who have attributed negative criticism towards this movie. And I say negative criticism because it's not good criticism. It's not like something that you can look at and be like, oh, I can see where you came to this conclusion. It's criticism where you listen to the criticism, watch the movie again, and then go, what kind of dirty ass socks were you sniffing that day? That's what I mean by negative criticism. And you've got these really big channels who just, I don't know if it's instilling some sort of confirmation bias for people who didn't like this interpretation of Spider-Man, or where you have situations like mine where I thought the movie was good, but then I listened to these big YouTube channels. I'm like, oh, so the popular opinion is that this movie is kind of bad,
Well,
and
it was the same
I'm
for
not.
me because I used to watch YMS and Ralph a lot during that time, and I was like, oh, they hated Tasm Chew and they always make fun of it as it being always so silly, and YMS still mentions Tasm Chew often on like his streams, being like the soundtrack was shit when he's making fun of Hans Zimmer for like the Lion King 2019 and shit like that, and it's all it's the kind of thing where like these like because these big YouTubers disliked it, it kind of became like the general consensus of it. Because of that,
Yeah.
and because of like the marketing being so focused on like the wrong things of the film, like making Rhino out to be a bigger villain, that people got annoyed at, and so they like use confirmation bias to try to criticize the film despite it not actually like doing anything wrong, like any of the things that they're saying it does wrong. You know, they try to fight things you hate, but it's actually really hard. It's kind of the same thing I was talking to Neb about with Eternals. Someone made a video. I think it was was it Honest Trailers? No, How It Should Have Ended. Neb was like, oh, there's a How It Should Have Ended on Eternals. And every single one of the, How It Should Have Ended, like the endings, they're all like way worse than the actual film. And none of the criticisms make sense. And it's not funny. Like, usually this channel's pretty good. But it's a film that everyone like already assumes that it's bad, so we have to make fun of it. But we don't actually know how, because the film is actually really well made. You know? It's that same kind of thing, I think.
The kind of thing where it's like the easiest litmus test to know if someone's actually put thought into the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is to ask them who the third villain of the movie is. If they say Rhino, they haven't thought very much about the movie.
Yeah.
If they say Mencken, you can tell that they've thought about the movie.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know who Mencken is, and I watched this movie yesterday.
He's the main lawyer guy for Oscorp who gets Harry thrown out.
I wouldn't really call him a villain.
I mean, he's
absolutely a villain.
He's the antagonist for sure. Like, he's the biggest antagonistic force in the film. He gets Electro put into Ravencroft for one. Like, he gets Harry fired. He was involved with Peter's dad and everything about like protecting Norman.
He erases the records and tries to get Gwen kidnapped.
Yeah, like he's definitely like an antagonistic force. If you say him, he makes way more sense than saying Rhino.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't really pay much attention to him because I was like, yeah, but this is.
I mean, he's not really characterized.
No, hold on. This is the reason why I didn't pay much attention to him as a whole. I just saw him as an extension of Oscorp, and whenever I saw this stuff being done, I was just like, yeah, no, this is something Oscorp would do because this is the company that they are. I never really like attributed to him per se, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you could say like Oscorp as a whole is like a villain in these films, like the overarching like antagonist is Oscorp, just like as a corporation, entity. Yeah, it's like both films. Yeah. It is the main like thing that is going against the main character's values. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, you could say it's Oscorp in general. Zach and I were talking about Macon in yesterday because it is the type of thing where like he himself does a lot of things that could be considered like antagonistic moves, but it being done as like in the name of Oscorp. You could also see from that point of view and just say it's Oscorp doing it like as a whole. So it's kind of the same. Like it doesn't really change anything, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Point is, I have a very shitty memory.
That's fine.
Well, because I have a very healthy and fun relationship with my wife, unlike Jeremy, I'm going to go take her out to dinner.
I'm ending the stream. Chill. Fucking
damn it.
Give me 30 seconds, okay, you fucking cringe lord. Okay. So anyway, that was the stream. Yeah, we thank you everyone for watching. I would like to thank you all because your Tasm Chew streams have opened my eyes how truly overhated this film is since I originally despised this film. Well, thank you very much. We
Give
like
it a
defending
few
it.
months, and you'll have an even better reason to think this movie is better than you think it is.
Yes.
It's true. It gets better with age.
That's all what
Oh,
Shandy meant, but
suppose-
yes, that too. But anyway, yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. Shandy, you want to shout out your channel? I guess you have something you're working on. You'd like to mention?
Yeah, sure, why not? So I recently by recently I mean like 2 months ago, released a video discussing Birdman's coverage of Madvocat's No Way Home video, which has blown up my channel in popularity. I'm assuming a lot of people in this chat would be aware of that video anyways, because a lot of you guys are already subscribers to Madvocate, so probably already know about that. I have my own podcast that I do semi regularly. It's called The Nut House. Me and a few friends that I am quite well associated with by this point cover a whole bunch of silly topics. We checked out Anomaly Inc.'s Spider-Man 1 as a masterpiece video. It's a really bad video, and we spent most of our time giving credible arguments for why Spider-Man 1 is actually a masterpiece compared to what he was saying it was, because surprisingly enough, in a video titled Spider-Man 1 is a masterpiece, he gave a lot of statements that made the film worse overall, which was fucking weird. I've also had people like the meme repository on when we were covering Cyberpunk, and hopefully next week we're going to be doing one talking about Andor and covering one or two videos from people who think that the show's kind of stinky. Overall, I'm still working on my own reviews for movies like The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, which I will try to get out next year. I've just been kind of chilling the last couple of months just because it's been a really busy time at work and socially speaking. But yeah, no, that's me. Subscribe if you want to. I don't really care. I have all your credit card details
Oh no.
already, so I'm going to be using that freely.
Oh no. But yeah, Shanty's channel's in the description. Zach, I don't know. You've not made anything. I've been doing videos for your channel, so. But do you have anything you want to say? Maybe Under the Mind. I don't think I ever mentioned Under.
Yeah, I
the
don't
Mind.
think anybody's seeing that. I'm kind of pivoting away from film analysis, at least on a public front, and just focusing on actual making of les films. So yeah, obviously you can find that on the Thought Theater channel. It'll soon just be called my name, Zach Domet, to make it a bit more easier and straightforward. But yeah, support me on that journey because it's going well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, bye now. Tin Zod, say bye.
Bye.
Good for you.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
Oh yeah,
Happy New
Eric-
Year.
oh yeah.
See you
Actually,
next
before
year.
I finish
Bye.
the stream, there's gonna be an ECUM extra. I hope by the 31st, which Zod edited. So be excited. It's actually really fun. I just need to finish editing the copyright cover and everything, but it is gonna be good. It's one that's been a long time coming. It's all right. We'll catch y'all later. Bye bye.